Go to micro.
We don't like them. 2 years ago, kind of just crushed their dreams. Was pretty nice.
He'll roll right, lets it go, finds this guy, touchdown!
Heartbreaking losses 2 years in a row. You know, it's just fuel for the fire for this year.
It's college football at its finest.
Here's Onda. Across the 5, runs him over into the end zone. BYU touchdown!
You know, they've won the last 2. We have to win this. The reason we really want to win the game is to have a conference championship. That's what stands between us and our goal. If we play our game, it shouldn't be close.
Cougars.
The toughest ticket in town is to Rice-Eccles Stadium for the annual matchup between the Cougars and the Utes. They've been tackling each other since 1896, and it's never been bigger than today. Utah 11-0 welcomes BYU 10-1. The Utes sitting at number 7 in the BCS standings. A win earns them the conference championship outright and a bid to a BCS bowl game. Rich Cellini, Blaine Fowler, John Berger, welcome to Salt Lake City. Let's put the spotlight on the quarterbacks who've each put together All-American type campaigns.
Well, absolutely 2 of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. Brian Johnson for Utah, Max Hall for BYU. They are tacticians. They run these offenses to perfection. There's going to be a ton of emotion out on that field this afternoon. These 2 have to kind of stay below that. They've got to be the thinkers out there. They've got to make the right plays. The guy that makes the fewest mistakes will likely win this football game.
Utah has been tested throughout the season. They've passed every one. What needs to happen to get the Utes to 12-0?
Well, for Utah, it's about defense. This is a football team that's 11th in the nation in defense. That's not an accident. A lot of that has to do with their ability to get pressure on the quarterback with Koamisi, with Paul Kruger. I really think the key matchup today for Utah is their cornerbacks, Bryce McCain and Sean Smith, in one-on-one situations with Austin Collie, the great wide receiver from BYU. If Utah can make BYU one-dimensional on the offensive side of the ball, they have an excellent opportunity to win this football game.
The weather is crisp. The stadium is buzzing. It's perfect. A celebration of college football comes your way next on the Mountain.
December, get premier conference coverage all month long on the Mountain. Go inside Colorado State men's basketball on Reaching the Peak. Get an in-depth look at the conference's postseason football matchups on the Mountain West Bowl previews. Hit the hardcourt as the Mountain West men's and women's basketball season heats up. And celebrate the holidays from Christmas Eve to New Year's with 9 straight days of the best moments from every Mountain West school. It all happens this December, right here on the Mountain.
Around the Mountain, covering the tough issues and top stories from the world of college sports.
Teams are going to force him to pull up and shoot.
The pre-conference season is not easy.
With heated debates.
They're going to score a ton of points, and Brian Johnson and that offense are going to roll.
I think we're reading way too much into it, guys.
And no-holds-barred opinions.
You have very few athletes that can make that transition.
Around the Mountain is where sports reporters speak their minds, and sports fans come to listen. Around the Mountain.
Tuesday at 6:30 on the Mountain.
It's about teamwork,
strength from unity,
rising to the moment,
reaching for greatness.
It's where excellence becomes reality.
And team becomes the ultimate champion.
This is Mountain West basketball.
And this is where we play. The Mountain, where the West is one.
Tuesday at 7:30, Louisville challenges Utah in Mountain West women's basketball. Live from Salt Lake City, right here on the Mountain.
The Mountain West, a conference of tradition, a conference of pride, and at its core, a community built by every athlete, every team, each with a story to share. Trust our team to tell the stories of your teams, because we are fans first, because we know the stories that matter to you, because your conference is our conference. The Mountain View, presented by Dodge.
Thursday and Friday at 7 on the Mountain.
It's about passion, energy and emotion aspiring to greatness. The will to win captured in a moment. It's about spirit, the undeniable force that rises within. At its center, the heart of a champion. It's about individuals united. Competition and camaraderie is one. Fans and teams banded together. It's the reason they play the game and the reason we watch. The Mountain, where the West is won.
Today's presentation of the Deseret First Duel on the Mountain is brought to you by Deseret First Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel. 2 schools, 12 sports, 1 champion. Dodge, see the all-new 2009 Dodge Ram Crew Cab 1500 at your Dodge dealer. Sinclair Oil, we're about as American as it gets. Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good. And by Cricket Wireless, get unlimited with Cricket and save up to $600 a year. Visit a Cricket store for more details. Getting ready for the start of action in Salt Lake. A look at the BCS standings and a geography lesson from Tuscaloosa to the Crimson Tide, on to Lubbock and the Red Raiders. Austin, home of the University of Texas. Gainesville houses the Gators. Norman has the Sooners. Los Angeles has the Trojans. We have the University of Utah sitting at number 7. Rich Cellini, John Berger, Blaine Fowler upstairs. Sammy Linebaugh, Toby Christensen down on the field. Ladies first. Sammy?
Rich, it is electric inside this stadium. I've been watching the faces of these Utah players, and they are soaking it in, looking around, looking to their quarterback, Brian Johnson, to lead this fight right here, right now. Now, Brian Johnson looks poised. He looks confident. He actually even cracked a few smiles here just a little bit ago. He said, in his words, he wants to finish this right. Now, Toby Christensen is on the Cougar sideline. Toby, what's happening there?
Well, Samuel, I have some encouraging news for BYU Cougar fans. BYU tight end and Mackey Award semifinalist Dennis Pitta will play today. Coach Robert and I told me that he's not sure how limited it'll be, but just being out there is huge for the psyche of the entire offense and will open things up for Max Hall as the Utah defense is forced to account for his presence. Now, his knee is heavily bandaged, but BYU's head trainer told me that he's worked hard all week and he can't do any more structural damage, so as long as he can tolerate the pain, he'll be cleared to play. Guys?
Thank you, Toby. Indeed, that is good news for BYU. Time now for a look at our Dodge keys to the game.
Well, for BYU, they're going up against a Utah defense that's 7th in the nation against the rush, 11th in the nation in total defense. I think it's important they get balanced on offensive side of the ball. You don't want to get in a situation where Utah is just teeing off on your quarterback. And the other thing, guys, is win the intangibles. In a game of this magnitude, field position, turnover, special teams, BYU has to play a clean game to try to get out of here with the win.
Good look at 4th-year head coach Bronco Mendenhall and our Dodge keys to the game for Kyle Whittingham and the Utes.
The Utes must pressure Max Hall. He's just too good if you give him the time to get to a 2nd and 3rd read, so they've got to get pressure on him early and protect the football. Turnovers are the big equalizer in this football game. Utah's here at home. They cannot afford to turn the ball over. If they take care of the ball, they will be in good shape.
Sold out Rice-Eccles Stadium, and there's not much blue, partner.
Yeah, when you look at this, it is a sea of red, and there's a little sliver of blue that goes up one corner of this stadium, a hostile environment. And John, you played the game. Sometimes it's as fun to play in front of a hostile crowd as it is to play in front of your home crowd. You can get some energy and some emotion out of that.
A little bit of jockeying and sportsmanship on the field.
Yep, things getting a little salty early. I think the biggest thing, Rich, is in a game of this magnitude, everybody's amped up. Just settle in.
Can that emotion be your enemy?
Well, I think there are certain positions that have to lasso that a little bit and keep it to. If you're at quarterback, you can't afford to get caught up in this. You've got to think through things. If you're playing free safety and you're making the calls, if you're a middle backer and you're making the calls, you have to kind of stay even keel. Now, for a D lineman, it's probably okay for a D lineman to go nuts a little bit. It's probably just fine.
To say that the Beehive State buzzes throughout the week for this game would be a gross understatement.
Absolutely, it's all the talk all week long. And this is a rivalry that is very interesting. It divides families. You'll have brothers and sisters that go to the opposite institution. And so it is very heated, and it is all the talk, not just during this rivalry week, but all year long. Everyone in this state points to this football game.
Perhaps nobody has been directly involved in this game longer than the head coach of the Utes, Kyle Whittingham, who has had a direct involvement since 1973.
Kyle moved from California with his family as his dad, Fred, took a job on BYU's staff on the defensive side of the ball. And since that time, Kyle has either had a parent coaching, a brother playing himself, or actually coaching himself in this game without ever missing a year. That's incredible. I don't think there's anybody else that's had so much invested in this rivalry as Kyle Whittingham.
Sorensen to kick it away. Reed will put a knee down. BYU won the toss and deferred. Brian Johnson and the Utes will begin at the 20.
What a phenomenal career for Brian Johnson. Comes into the ball game completing 66% of his passes, 2,300 yards this season. What a phenomenal job he's done of managing this offense. You're looking at the winningest quarterback in the history of Utah football, 24-7 as a starter. And Rich, it all began last year in 07 when he came back from that shoulder surgery. Since that time, he's rattled off 19 of his last 20, done a phenomenal job for this Ute offense.
And he's been at his best when they needed him most. Mack is the back. He'll get the carry. And Mack gets it to the 24. Matt Bauman makes the tackle. Starting lineups brought to you by Sinclair Oil. We're about as American as it gets. Zane Beatles is an all-conference candidate at left tackle. Robert Conley, a 4-year starter. Darrell Mack got the first carry, and the trio of senior wide receivers, Godfrey, Castile, and Brown, have put together fantastic years. Four wide receivers set on 2nd and 6. Pass is caught. Jeremy Brooks has it still on his feet up to the 48-yard line. Brandon Howard pulled him down from behind, a pickup of 25.
And so important for receivers to block downfield. And when Utah runs this, they have to get blocking downfield. You do a great job making the first guy miss, and then you've got Godfrey working downfield. You've got Reed working downfield. The Utah receivers have done a terrific job of blocking downfield for their partners out there on those screen plays this year.
From their own 49. Johnson gonna take a shot. Castile, incomplete. Kellen Fowler had the coverage. BYU's defensive line is anchored by Jan Jorgensen, the Mountain West Conference career leader in sacks with 22.5. Matt Bauman in the middle leads the team with 89 tackles on the season. David Nixon is second with 77, and the defensive backfield calls are made by the senior Kellen Fowler. Mack joins Johnson, 2nd and 10. Plenty of time. Godfrey makes the catch. Quickly hit by Bauman.
Look at the opening drives for these two teams. BYU 11 possessions, 6 touchdowns, and Utah 2 touchdowns on 11 opening drives. And that last play, so typical of what Utah does. Braden Godfrey's their option route runner. He goes out, not determined where he's going to go. He reads the defense of Brian Johnson. He just play catch. That's something we'll see all afternoon.
3 wide receivers to Johnson's left. Gonna run it on 3rd and 5. Forced out of bounds by Matt Ayu. Spot looks to be good for a Utah first down. That's part of his game that has developed later in this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian Johnson, early in the season, his offensive coordinator, Andy Ludwig, wanted to protect him. They were discouraging him from necessarily running the football because he didn't have to. They have enough weapons around him. That time, BYU was in a deep zone. Their safeties were sitting 12 to 15 yards deep. They had good coverage downfield. Brian Johnson recognizes that early in the play, tucks the football, moves the chains. Big play for Utah early in this ball game.
Asiata and Mack in a split back formation. Johnson's going to pitch it. Mack splits the defender, still on his feet, drives his way to the 33. Kellen Fowler had the tackle.
And it's so important. We talked about it in the screen game, but also in the option game. You've got to block. And watch right here. David Tafuna, 23 for BYU, is the force player. He's got to get this thing inside. But you get Braden Godfrey, who's a very good blocker downfield that's able to get enough width on that block to form a running lane for Darrell Mack.
Pickup of 7, 2nd and 3. Ball on the ground. Johnson held it a little bit too long and had to fall on top of it. Those just joining us were in the first quarter at Rice-Eccles. BYU number 14, Utah number 7. A win for BYU gets them a piece of the conference championship, which would be their 3rd consecutive conference title.
As we talked to Max Hallrich, that's the first thing he talked about this week. The first thing he pointed to.
Loss of 3 on the fumble. 3rd down and 6. Johnson throws, pass is caught. It's going to be another Utah first down.
And look at the blocking up front. What a great job on the offensive line for Utah. Look at the passing lane right there. Just nobody in the middle of that defense. And Brian Johnson, anytime he sees his tight end get over the top of that linebacker, that passing lane opens up. He delivers the football accurately. Big conversion and moving the sticks for Utah.
Freddie Brown leads the team in receptions. That's number 58. He has exploded in his senior year. To the air on first down. Batted away, incomplete. David Reed had it whacked away by Brandon Bradley, the sophomore from Tallahassee.
Something to keep an eye on right now. BYU early in the ball game was putting their safeties 12 to 15 yards deep. Now that Utah is getting closer to the red zone, BYU is cheating those safeties up, and it's going to collapse the windows from which Brian Johnson can throw the football through. Now Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, loves to go to the running game inside the red zone. Keep an eye on that with Darrell Mack and Matt Asiata.
10th play of the opening drive. Swings it to Mack, incomplete.
And well read that time by Jan Jorgensen. And you have to have your ends and your outside backers read these screens. When the ball's coming out quick, you've got to redirect, you get away from the quarterback and head back to the sideline. Had that ball been thrown well and had Matt caught it, Jorgensen would have been right there for the tackle.
What do you like for Utah on 3rd and 10?
Now, Braden Godfrey's a guy that runs the middle of the field. They usually like to go to those inside receivers, Godfrey or Castile, running inside breaking routes against the zone defense in this one.
Three-man rush on 3rd and 10. Johnson gets it away. Brooks has it, and he's quickly surrounded and swallowed up by the Cougar defense. Bauman was the first man in. And I believe we will see King Louis Sakota.
and isn't this not like the greatest luxury in the world, if you're a coach, to know that once you cross that 30-yard line, that you almost automatically have points on the board. It builds throughout a game. This is a great weapon to have.
The All-American candidate. puts Utah on the board first. A 37-yard field goal, and the home crowd is out in front early.
BYU versus Utah. The Deseret First duel. The biggest game of the year. But that's not what this crowd is cheering about. It's rewards checking from Deseret First, a checking account that pays you 5.01% APY. There's no minimum balance, no monthly fees. We'll even pay your ATM fees. To qualify, it's easy. In fact, they're little things you're probably already doing. Rewards checking from Deseret First, proud sponsor of the Deseret First duel.
This brown bag special is such a great deal.
I know. I love you get 2 of everything. You know, like 2 tots. 2 drinks. You get 2 burgers. It's too good to be true. Too good to be true.
Right, I get it.
This is too much fun. I thought that'd be more fun than it was.
Brown bag special. Sonic's got it, others don't. A Sonic-sized deal with 2 burgers, 2 tots, and 2 drinks for just $6.99. And for dessert, try the new Sticky Bun Dough Blast.
How does a company express commitment to a community? At Sinclair, we believe in local investments. In Wyoming and Oklahoma, for example, we're making serious investments to increase our refining production and make them among the cleanest and most efficient in the nation. And now we're offering more of the fuels produced there by your friends and neighbors through Sinclair gas stations and convenience stores. Because at Sinclair, we're about as American as it gets.
Welcome back to Rice-Eccles Stadium. Rich Cellini, John Berger, Blaine Fowler, Sammy Linebaugh, Toby Christensen. 3-0 lead early for Utah. Our Sonic drive summary. Impressive drive on the opening drive for the home team.
12 plays, 60 yards. They took 5-12 off of the clock on that one. Brian Johnson looked poised. We saw that emotion at the beginning of the game. Both teams seemed to just settle right in once they kick that thing off.
Yeah, for Utah, that's the drive you want. You want to set the tone up front at the point of attack. I thought they played well. BYU, give them credit on the defensive side of the ball as Utah got near the red zone, making Utah settle for the field goal.
Ben Roman to Austin Collie. Colley's got a lane. Still on his feet. Cuts back, pulled down at the 30. John Peel saved a touchdown. 70-yard return by Austin Collie.
Yeah, watch the blocking up front by the wedge. Austin Collie's taking it to the right side, and then it's a design play. Watch the wedge, watch the blocking up front against number 42, and then Austin Collie, look at his speed and his athleticism. He makes one cut, he sees an opening, and then he jets down the sideline. What a huge play. Big special teams play for BYU early in this ballgame, setting up a first down on the Utah 30-yard line.
Collie will get a quick breather following the 70-yard return. First offensive play of the afternoon for BYU. Hall from the shotgun. Complete far side to Michael Reed. The All-American candidate, Max Hall, continuing the tradition of excellence.
And you look at the touchdown to interception ratio. 34 TDs and just 8 interceptions. Max Hall told me earlier this week, last year in this game, as a rookie at it, he let the emotion get to him. And he was determined that this year he would play with poise and not make bad decisions.
Unga on 2nd and 6. He'll be a yard short of the first down. Starting lineups brought to you by Sinclair Oil. We're about as American as it gets. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen are seniors. Matt Reynolds, left tackle, just a freshman. Unga got the first carry, closing in on another 1,000-yard season. Dennis Pitta, good news, he'll go today. He is second on the team in receptions behind the All-American Austin Collie. Collie in motion. Hall on 3rd down, throws behind him, incomplete. Bryce McCain had the coverage.
And Max Hall made the right read, and he chose the right receiver. He just threw the ball in behind. This is a catch, believe it or not, that Austin Collie usually makes. He's one of the best in the country at adjusting to the football when it's in the air. And you have to wonder how much of that. I was tired watching him run that kickback. You wonder if he's still a little fatigued from that big kickoff return.
Mitch Payne looking to tie the score at 3. Mawika will hold. Three tie. Austin Collie returns it 70 yards to set up the field goal. Score is tied at 3 in Salt Lake.
Awesome.
Very attractive.
I love it. Lots of room back there in the back. Yeah, it's got all kinds of room in it, man. We drove it down a huge mountain. It's still as smooth as can be. Loads of power.
Hemi, top of the line.
Can't even feel the trailer back there.
Go, 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 go!
I was limited. With my old cell plan, I had to talk on their time, not mine. That's why I switched to Cricket. Now I'm unlimited for real.
Why spend up to $99 with the other guys when Cricket gives you unlimited talk, text, and more for just $45 a month? Real Unlimited from Cricket can save you over $600 a year with no contracts, no overages, and no credit checks. Plus, visit a Cricket store today and get your first month of service free. Call 1-800-354-8595 now. Cricket Wireless. Real Unlimited, unreal savings.
.27 to go, first quarter, tied at 3, BYU and Utah. Austin Collie's 70-yard kickoff return set up the Sonic Drive summary. Back to evens.
Yep, you bet. What a big play for Austin Collie. We talked about it earlier in the ball game. In a game of this magnitude, a lot of times it turns on 3 or 4 plays. That was one of them. Austin Collie with the big kickoff return gives BYU great field position. But Blaine, give the Utah defense credit. They got in there, they fought, made BYU settle for the field goal attempt. That's a big defensive stand early in a ball game like this.
David Reed and Brent Castile back deep. Justin Sorensen to kick it away. Utes will get it at the 20. This copyrighted telecast of the Mountain West Conference is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use for dissemination of this telecast with the pictures, descriptions, accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Mountain West Conference is prohibited. Looks like Max, the dog who chases down the ball, was getting a little impatient.
He goes and spots the ball, but he was getting a little impatient.
Well, so was I. Swing the club. Second drive for Utah. Johnson all day to throw. Castile makes the catch, turns upfield, escorted out of bounds by Bauman.
Utah here on their second drive. One of the things that they want to do is continue to tack the edge of the BYU defense. That's where they feel like they're going to have their best matchup with Brent Castile, with Braden Godfrey and Freddie Brown coming across the middle, sometimes on the second level on the backside. That's where Utah is going to continue to attack this BYU defense.
And you're looking at Matt Bauman, the middle backer. It's imperative for BYU to have those backers track those receivers as they come across, not just pass them off, but run with them in coverage, and that'll be a big matchup we'll be watching for the rest of the evening.
Castile got 10. Now he'll get the handoff, try the left side, cut it up and get 9 yards. Let's check in with Toby Christensen.
Well, you guys, it's been a tale of two halves this season for BYU's defense. The first half of the season, BYU defense looked great, giving up 10.5 points a game and just over 300 yards. But things have been different the last half of the season, where BYU's defense has given up over 29 points a game and close to 400 yards. We're wondering which BYU defense we're going to see today. And so far, Utah's offense has been doing what they want against this defense, guys.
Thank you, Toby. Castile got 9, 2nd and 1. Asiata finds a hole and will move the chains. David Nixon had the stop.
As we track this Utah team throughout the season, Darrell Mack and Matt Asiata, they were getting even touches. But in the last couple of games, Matt Asiata has emerged as the go-to guy. He's been the focal point. He now, coming into this game, had 81 carries compared to just 64 for Darrell Mack. He's got over 100 yards more in rushing. He's averaging 5.1.
And they lined up as if they were going to direct snap to Asiata, and then Johnson came back in. He'll take the snap. Asiata will take the handoff and pound his way to the 47. Kellen Fowler has the stop.
Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator for Utah, he talked about this last night. He wants to get Utah involved running the football with Darrell Mack, with Matt Asiata. They want to get the football to all their playmakers, including Castile and Braden Godfrey. And look at the blocking up front. Asiata is a very patient runner. The other thing, guys, is he runs with his pads low to the ground. Very seldom do you see Asiata take a negative loss on a running play. Big conversion there for Utah.
Empty backfield on 2nd and 5. 5 wide receivers set. Cougars will bring pressure off the corner. Johnson completes it to Brown, and Freddie Brown is down to the Cougar 41. Fowler with another stop.
And this is just pure timing. Brian Johnson let go of that football before Freddie Brown had even turned around. Here he is lining up. He's inside receiver. Now watch, that ball's in the air now. That ball was in the air as he made his break. If you can throw the ball on time, on the break, it's impossible to defend without underneath coverage. And that was a perfect throw on time.
From the Cougar 41. Asiata cuts back down to the 33. Denny with the stop.
Another example of Asiata and the running backs from Utah working against the linebackers from BYU. And Blaine, you talked about it early in the ball a couple of plays ago. That's the biggest thing. When Utah sneaks those running backs out of the backfield, the linebackers from BYU have to be cognizant and be aware of where they're at.
Complete far side, Brooks. That's another Utah first down. You are watching the Deseret First Duel from Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. Rich Cellini, John Berger, Blaine Fowler upstairs, Sammy Linebaugh, and Toby Christensen on the sidelines. Johnson wiggles his way out of bounds. Bauman continues to be active for BYU.
Bauman did a nice job that time. His assignment was Brian Johnson. You saw he was a spy in the middle of the field. As soon as Johnson started to roam, he tracked him. And he was able to push him out of bounds for very little gain.
Dominating first half for Utah. Johnson has completed 5 straight passes and is 8 for 11 early. He'll go back to the air. Another completion. Godfrey to the 17.
Utah just working their way down the field, very methodical. Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, is going to continue to go to that short passing game. If BYU is going to play off those receivers, quarterback Brian Johnson will just stand up, deliver the short passing game, continue to move the sticks.
Johnson throws, touchdown to Castile.
Brian Johnson has done such a good job early in this game of making the right reads.
Is under review. Ruling on the field is touchdown.
Making the right reads. There's been a couple times he's wanted to go deep with the ball. Coverage has been there. He's dumped it off. He recognizes this time that he's got Castile working outside on a linebacker underneath, and he goes right to where that opening is.
Yeah, Castile gets into the seam. I'm not even sure what they're reviewing here. I guess they're looking to see if he had possession of the football. From this angle, it looks like clearly he caught the football.
15 years on the Utah staff, the last 4 as the head coach. Kyle Whittingham signaling touchdown. Kyle's ruling is confirmed by the man that matters, Greg Burks, our referee.
I tell you what I like. The easy ones, sometimes this year the easy ones have taken, that was an easy one, and he went over, took one look. They
said, that's it.
They called down and said, no, that was a touchdown. Yep. And he's right back. I like that. I like the speed of that review.
And the crowd chants Louis. And Sakota keeps them on their feet. 10-3. Castile's second touchdown reception of the season. Johnson's 21st touchdown toss. 10-3 Utes.
Rio Tinto's Kennecott Utah Copper and Kennecott Land produce more than you might know. Within the communities that we build, we create togetherness. For the Utah Museum of Natural History, we encourage curiosity for a whole new generation. With over 140,000 new trees planted, we nurture hope. Through the Utah Fallen Officers Memorial, we help commemorate valor and sacrifice to our community. We also promote respect for the natural beauty that surrounds us. We are proud of these things. They remind us here at Rio Tinto that we're part of something bigger.
Want to get froggy with your phone? Text pound brick oven to 40123 to get a mobile coupon for 2 pizzas, 12 breadsticks, and soda for $27.99 at Brick Oven. Show your phone to redeem. Learn more at frogzog.com.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City. 2 offensive possessions for Utah, 2 scores and a 10-3 lead. The Mountain is your home for Mountain West basketball tonight at 8. Colorado State hosts Minnesota. Tuesday at 7:30, Louisville and Utah in a women's matchup. And Wednesday at 6:30, the men are back on the hardwood when SMU takes on TCU right here on the Mountain where the West is won. Roman kicks it away. Colley backpedaling will bring it out. Tripped up at the 20, but he had another hole.
Yep, he did. He had another seam. He got Colley. If he could have made that first guy miss, he had another big play opportunity.
Another look at our Telesphere touchdown.
Brent Castile just gets into the seam. Linebacker just missed the coverage. Castile comes over on the backside, and Brian Johnson just delivers an accurate ball. Big score for Utah early in the ball game.
Telesphere, business telecommunications simplified. Visit telesphere.com today.
Utah player injured on kick coverage on that one. Well, and you think about kick returns and kick coverage. That is some big fast guys running full speed down the field, and it is major collisions out there.
Yep, that's where you get the hardest collisions on a football field, especially the wedge busters. And Utah coming down, they gave up that big return to Austin Colley. I can promise you the Utah coaches were in those guys' face before this kickoff, saying you guys have got to get down there. You've got to hammer, get through there, because Collie is such an explosive football player. Austin Collie, a lot of people say, well, he's a possession receiver. He is not a possession receiver. He's explosive, and you saw it on that first kickoff.
I was talking to a pro scout early this year during a practice, and he said, there's some guys that run a 40 time, and they put on the pads at it slower. He says this guy is the exact same speed on the field that he is on the watch.
Nai Fotu, sophomore linebacker, being helped off the field. Second offensive possession for Max Hall and the Cougars. Hall, plenty of time, hits Collie over the middle. Collie turns it upfield and picks up 12 yards and a first down. Joe Dale shoved him out of bounds.
What patience by Max Hall, just waiting for Austin Collie. Comes all the way across the field, finding the open spot. Max Hall just buys himself some time, but delivers the accurate football. Collie just tucks it up for the first down.
Quick hitter to the far side. Penalty marker is down. Michael Reed, the senior, advanced the ball for BYU. Will check the flag.
One thing I love about Michael Reed is a wide receiver. If he's on the sideline, the guy will never just step out of bounds. He's going to turn it back in.
Number 88 of the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
The backup tight end, Andrew George, gets called for the hold.
One of the things to keep an eye on, guys, is for Utah defensively. BYU's doing a nice job of spreading the football, and you're going to see the hold right there by 88 Andrew George, the tight end. He's just locked up on number 1, Bryce McCain. He gets flagged there, but the thing to keep an eye on is how does Utah plan on playing Austin Collie? Is it zone? Is it man-to-man? Are they mixing it up? BYU's doing a nice job of moving him around the formation right now.
Official is going to come in and stop this play. Following the holding penalty, it's first down and 12 for BYU. Vakapuna and Unga in the eye. Unga rumbles his way to the 36. Sinclair's starting lineups. Paul Kruger and Koamisi are beasts on the outside of the line for Utah. Mike Wright leads the team in tackles, the junior from Bountiful. And the defensive backs, Bryce McCain and Sean Smith, will have their work cut out for them. They're up for the challenge.
Yep, they are. Sean Smith's going to have to play a big role defensively today for Utah against Austin Collie.
Unga makes the catch and is wrapped up by Wright. He's been a very pleasant surprise for Utah.
Yeah, you're going to see the matchup, and you're going to see different formations. You're going to see Sean Smith and Bryce McCain. Right here is Bryce McCain one-on-one against Austin Collie. And that, when you're one-on-one situation, that allows your safeties to come down into the box to defend the run and the short passing game, and you saw it right there.
From 10 for BYU.
This is usually Dennis Pitta time. It'll be time to see if that knee is solid. They like him in the middle of the field on 3rd and long.
Pitta is in the slot to the left. Hall has time, throws a bullet that's broken up. He wanted to get it to Reed. McCain got a hand in there.
Yeah, and we just talked about it. The corners are so good for Utah. Collie was covered well by Sean Smith. Max Hall was trying to get the football over to Collie. Great coverage downfield. He was manned up right there with number 4, Sean Smith. Has to come back to Michael Reed, and then a big play by number 1, Bryce McCain, cutting it over the top and batting that football away.
C.J. Santiago, the senior. Brent Castile back to return for Utah. Line drive from the 20. Return to the 34. Spencer Hadley makes the special teams tackle for BYU.
And something to watch for. Keep in mind, even though BYU scored on that first drive, it was basically a 3-play drive, and they kicked a field goal because of the big kick return. And BYU's defense has been out there this entire first quarter.
Let's go downstairs to Sammy.
Hey, Bryce McCain gets a lot of attention for his speed. He runs a 4.28 40, but coaches say in this game it's his leadership as much as anything that they're counting on. They say he is very good, very smart and perceptive at picking up what those offensive formations are and disseminating that information to his defense. He's an economics major. He's very good at calculations. That's what he's doing here now.
Johnson able to hold on to that one. Almost another case where the ball hit the turf.
Yeah, it was. But right now, and I thought Blaine made a great point. If you look at the way the ball game's playing out right now, we only have a $151 left in the first quarter. Utah is playing well up front, in the trenches, at the point of attack. BYU get that huge kickoff return. Utah's defense did well, held them to the field goal. But right now, Utah is having their way, and they have the BYU defense back on their heels with only $135 left in the first quarter.
Lights beginning to take effect here at Rice-Eccles. 2nd and 6. Brooks again has room. Stretches to the 46. Brandon Bradley makes the tackle, but Brooks and the Utes move the chains.
Yeah, and you know what? For Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, that's just another version of the run game. The short passing game, Utah, they're going to make BYU adjust. They're going to make BYU come up and cover their wide receivers. Look how much room Utah has right there. Brian Johnson delivers an accurate ball, and yet another first down conversion for Utah.
Andy Ludwig told us last night, if things work, we will, quote, stomp the mud puddle dry. Empty backfield. Here come the Cougars. Johnson gets it away. Brown slips out of a tackle and gets to the 41. Tafuna finally brought him down. Freddie Brown continuing to improve every week.
And this is where a veteran quarterback helps you. BYU goes blitz. Brian Johnson immediately recognizes it and goes to his big receiver. Freddie Brown playing with so much confidence right now. He's a big, strong receiver, and 9 straight completes now for Brian Johnson.
Johnson again. Godfrey bounced out by Tafuna. He'll spot it at the 40. Gain of 2.
Brian Johnson has not thrown a bad ball in this game either. I mean, he is hot. Sometimes a quarterback is hot, and everything is nicely thrown.
On 2nd and 8 to Brown, incomplete. It's going to be a pass interference on David Tafuna. Brandon Howard was there as well, but I didn't think Tafuna had turned back to look for the ball.
Yeah, Tafuna just got there early. He recognized the play early and just came up.
Number 23, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Just came up over the top and just got there early. Brian Johnson now 13 of 16 for 129. Tafuna recognized the play early, just gets up over the top, just arrives early, and you're going to get that flag every time.
And he was in very good position. All he needed to do was turn that head back, and he would have gotten a hand on the football. He drove to the receiver and got there half a second early. Look back, find it, and that ball's knocked away.
From the Cougar 25. Johnson complete to Castile. He'll get 11. Bauman shoved him out of bounds.
Another example of Utah bringing their wide receivers, just dragging them across the formation. They are going to make the BYU linebackers cover Brent Castile and cover Braden Godfrey and cover Freddie Brown. And right now, Utah is just winning that battle. Their wide receivers against the linebackers of BYU.
Johnson hasn't been pressured yet today. To the air again. Castile makes the grab. Spinning, bobbled the football. Did he lose it? They're signaling second down.
And he did lose it, but Freddie Brown came up with the fumble.
Heads up play by the senior Freddie Brown. First quarter in the books. 10-3 lead. Utah.
The MTN.TV, your new online home for the Mountain, packed with new features and options. The Mountain Online keeps you connected to the Mountain West. Watch highlights of all your conference teams and episodes of your favorite Mountain shows. Plus, get the latest program guides by day, sport, or school. And sign up to become a Mountain Insider and get Mountain updates sent straight to your email. Come see what's new at the Mountain Online. Just a click away at the MTN.TV.
It's about teamwork,
strength from unity,
rising to the moment,
reaching for greatness.
It's where excellence becomes reality.
And team becomes the ultimate champion.
This is Mountain West basketball.
And this is where we play. The Mountain, where the West is one.
Tonight at 8, the men hit the hard court in Fort Collins when Colorado State plays host to Minnesota, right here on the Mountain. The latest scores.
Richards needs a block. Nobody's going to get him. He's got a man in the end zone.
The week's top highlights.
Here comes the blitz and drop to the turf. Scouting guy. Do they connect? Yes, they do.
And the headline stories from across the conference.
The teams that needed to win had great games.
Another game down to the wire.
Our defense is spectacular.
Get the best from the Mountain West every week on the Mountain Cat. Tonight at 10, only on the Mountain.
The Mountain, the most live conference games.
Here's a little showtime.
Attacking the basket and hammering it home. Going to the house. The greatest upset in the history of the Mountain West Conference.
Premier reporting of Mountain West news.
The best thing about being 6-0 is the chance to be 7-0.
I'm actually going to be in the NBA arena, just, fulfilling my dreams.
If it happens in the Mountain West, you'll see it on the Mountain. Mountain West Sports Network.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City, getting ready for the start of the second quarter. Fourth-year head coach Bronco Mendenhall. Our first quarter Sharp stats brought to you by Les Olson Company and Sharp Copiers, a winning combination.
Total domination right now by Utah. And if you look at what Utah is doing offensively, number one, their offensive line is doing a terrific job with Zane Taylor and Robert Conley, Dustin Hensel. BYU's getting no pressure on Brian Johnson. He's getting back. He's in three-step drops. He's getting rid of the football. And he's distributing the ball to a variety of different playmakers. And right now they have BYU back on their heels defensively.
Castile in motion. Second down. Johnson going to try to run it himself up the middle. He'll get to the 8. Penalty flags are on the field.
And back to those stats, the thing that jumped out to me the most is BYU's had 8 plays. 2 of those were kicking plays. So they've had 6 offensive plays in this football game. And this defense should be exhausted at this point.
Building a formation, 6 men on the line on the offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
What defensive changes would you like to see BYU make?
They have to get more aggressive underneath. So those linebackers, when they're running those crossing routes and quick hitches, those linebackers need to jump those routes, take some chances. And if you see a crossing route coming across, you got to make receivers pay for catching 3-yard balls and 4-yard balls.
Second down and 12 following the penalty. Utah calls a timeout as the play clock is down to 1.
Utah.
We'll take a break. 14:30 to go in the first half. 7-point lead for the home team.
7, 6, 5, 4, 8, run!
The few, the proud, the Marines.
Brakes. The most important system in your car.
If you're experiencing symptoms of worn brakes, noise or grinding, pulsation, brake grab, or if your brake pedal needs excessive pressure, come into Les Schwab for a free brake inspection. If your brakes need service, we do it right, we do it complete. Repairing, resurfacing, replacing, and adjusting. All backed by our full parts and labor guarantee. Les Schwab Brake Service. If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
Introducing Cricket Broadband. Surf the net, save the cash. Go to mycricket.com/broadband to learn more. Cricket Broadband. Real unlimited, unreal savings. Starting today, internet fits your life and your budget. Just $1.33 a day. Go to mycricket.com/broadband to learn more. Cricket Broadband. Real unlimited, unreal savings.
Back at Salt Lake City, 14:30 remaining in the second quarter. Rich Cellini, John Berger, Blaine Fowler, and a look at our Big O Tires Mountain West Conference scoreboard.
Well, that Colorado State-Wyoming game ended up being a back-and-forth affair, and Colorado State, what a huge victory for them. Steve Fritz on his first season gets some bowl eligible.
TCU handles Air Force 44-10, which means if BYU wins here today, there would be a three-way tie for the Mountain West Conference Championship. A Utah victory means they remain unbeaten and claim the title outright. Johnson on 2nd and 12 throws a dart to the 5, wheeled in by Brown. Fowler spins into the turf.
And Brian Johnson is just on time and on target. He's making all the right reads. The ball's coming out on the break every single time. And he's throwing through. Throwing, his offensive line has created a nice, look at that throwing. Doesn't have to throw over the top of anybody. And the ball is coming up. It's quick. They haven't gotten pressure on him.
Asiata will take the direct snap. Finds a crease in the end zone. Touchdown!
Utah's offensive line is pushing BYU back big time. You see Slaughterhoff with the pole. He didn't even need the pole because Asiata went back where he vacated from. There was a huge crease there. Great surge by Utah's offensive line. If Asiata gets 3 yards upfield, you're not stopping him after that. He's too big and too strong.
Sakota makes it 17-3. 3 offensive possessions for Utah. 3 scores. The last one is Matt Asiata's 11th touchdown this season.
Remember when the most important thing in life was learning your ABCs? It still is. St. George, Utah. Everything from A to Zion.
It's time for those that have come before, for those that are still to come. I will choose to work hard. I will choose to be patient. I will choose to be passionate. I will become what I know I am. I am a Cougar.
We've had our first taste of winter, and more's on the way. So head into Big O Tires for road gripping snow tires as low as $38 each. While you're here, drop off food donations for the Utah Food Bank, and we'll give you a free holiday turkey when you buy 4 Big O brand tires. So dig into savings with turkeys for tires, only at Big O.
We got you covered at Big O.
Sonic drive summary. Asiata with the payoff.
Yeah, watch the blocking up front by Zane Taylor, Conley, and Dustin Hensel. Number 80, Chris Jopro, gets a block down, and they just blow BYU about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Total domination, direct snap to Asiata. Just tucks it up into the end zone, putting Utah up 17-3. Big play for the Utes.
Another sustained drive.
And this becomes a must drive for BYU's offense because they haven't showed up. They haven't shown up yet. 2 3-and-outs basically. They got a field going along, and they need to sustain something if they're going to stay in this game. This is the breaking point for this game.
BYU has to answer and get their defense off the football field.
Roman's kick is fielded by O'Neal Chambers, and he'll bring it out. Slips away, the freshman, ridden out of bounds at the 31.
And Austin Collie told him no, and he came out anyhow. He knew he better get it past the 20 after he disobeyed a more experienced player back there.
Get the best Mountain West news twice a week on the Mountain View. Join us Thursday at 7 for the latest from around the conference. Come back Friday night at 7 for total gridiron coverage on our football edition. Mountain View presented by Dodge, only on the mountain. Unga left side. And he'll bowl his way for a BYU first down.
And that's what you're going to see. I think BYU at this point in the ball game, down 17-3, they've got to mount a sustained drive. They need to get behind that big offensive line. They need to feed Harvey Unga. They've got to get their defense off the field. They need to get points in this drive, but they got to get their defensive field, and they got to get their confidence back as a football team.
To the air, Collie slips the tackler, picks up first down yardage.
Yep, Austin Collie's working against Bryce McCain, the corner, and right there they were playing. He just gave him about 10 yards of cushion. Max Hall looks up, he sees the cushion to the right side. Watch Collie come off the board. Bryce McCain's not even in the picture. He just settles into the route structure, delivers an accurate ball, and that's a tackle that Bryce McCain has to make. If he's going to play soft in coverage, he's got to come up and get Collie on the ground right there at the point of attack.
2 plays, 2 first downs on this drive for BYU. Unga slides out in motion. Hall throws that direction. Pass is caught. Joe Dale makes the tackle. You're watching the Deseret First Duel from Rice Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. Hall's going to go under center. Unga to the 33. Mike Wright, the first red helmet to get to number 45.
Gary Anderson, the defensive coordinator for Utah, I think he's doing a nice job of mixing up the coverages on Austin Collie. We've seen them play zone, we've seen them play man. Bryce McCain and Sean Smith have been up there on Austin Collie, but I think BYU right now on this drive and had success getting behind that big offensive line and just pounding with Harvey Unga. That's exactly what they need to do to try to climb back in this ball game.
Unga goes to the right in the cluster formation. Vakapuna stays in the backfield with Hall. He'll throw on first down. Now he'll tuck it and run. Dives to the 27.
And BYU's offensive line, a big, huge physical group averaging 326 pounds a man. And for Utah, they beat you with quickness. They're not a real big football team there, but they cover all the gaps. Their backers run well, and they beat you with quickness.
Hall on second down, throws on the run, looking for Collie, tipped incomplete. Smith
thinks he should have had his 5th interception.
Yep, Sean Smith again with one-on-one coverage against Austin Collie. And watch the pressure, watch up front from Utah's defense. Getting back to Max Hall. Outstanding job by Utah's defense. Max Hall is forced to throw the football. They bring pressure, but look at the inside-out leverage from Sean Smith working on Austin Collie, just getting up there and batting the football away. He almost had a pick right there.
If you're bringing 7, you better have a guy like number 4 that can shut down somebody one-on-one, because that's what you give up. But he's so good at finding the ball, and in coverage, they can do that.
Cougars looking for their first 3rd down conversion. Flags are down, and so is Hall. Koamisi sacks Max Hall.
And Utah brought the blitz, Rich, and Kruger got there quickly because he left early. And it's hard enough to block this guy because he is extremely quick. But if he gets a head start, you can't block him. Max Hall, touchdown passes by down this season. 3rd down is when he is most dangerous this season. 14 touchdown passes in 3rd down situations. This one, I would think, will be a run play, trying to move the chains. He does have outside receiver one-on-one, but I think it'll be a run play.
And Ungans takes the pitch. He'll have the 1st down, splits the seam, gets to the final strike. Touchdown, Cougars.
Well, and that's a new wrinkle we haven't seen in BYU's offense. We'll see some new things from both teams, but the quarterback reversed out and pitched it the opposite direction. Utah all flowed to the defensive left, and Harvey Ungo went to the defensive right.
Payne makes it a 7-point game. Unga's 23-yard touchdown run. His 9th touchdown of the season. 5 carries, 50 yards for the sophomore.
Yeah, we haven't seen this from BYU, and the quarterback, Max Hall, just goes to the option route, and Paul Kruger, number 11, the defensive end, they got him ISO'd, and once Max Hall delivered the football right there, Harvey Unga is just going to have an opportunity to outrun the slower Paul Kruger. The wide receiver, Michael Reed, gets a good block downfield. Harvey Unga recognizes that, cuts it up into the heart of the Utah defense, and takes it into the end zone.
They aren't the 2-time defending conference champions for no reason. You knew they wouldn't go quietly as we look at our Sonic Drive summary.
And we talked about them needing an answer. This was a must drive. 7 plays, 68 yards, 3 minutes. And what this does is all of a sudden now BYU's defense says, okay, we're back in this game. Let's go out and get a stop here. But if they don't produce points on that one, BYU's defense goes out there with their heads down.
And what did they do? They ran the football. They got behind that big offensive line and just pounded on Utah. And you can expect to see that throughout the ballgame. That was a great offensive series by offensive coordinator Robert and I. Good execution up front by the offensive line.
David Reed. Drilled at the 18. Let's go downstairs and check in with Toby Christensen.
Well, you guys, all coaches will tell us this when we meet with them before the game. One of the big things in every game is to avoid mistakes, turnovers and penalties especially. And as you said, last drive, Utah had all the momentum. The crowd was going nuts. We could barely hear anything down here. And when Paul Kruger had that offside penalty, it kept BYU's drive alive. And the very next play was when BYU scored the touchdown. And so, like we said before, when the coaches talk to us, they say we got to avoid penalties, and we can see how a penalty can change the momentum of the game right here. We'll see how Utah responds, guys.
Thank you, Toby. That made a 3rd down and 6, a 3rd down and 1.
Absolutely. Critical time, critical penalty by Paul Kruger. And BYU execute on the following play with Unga taking it in the end zone.
Johnson, who has been just about flawless this afternoon, uses his legs to pick up 6. 16 of 19, 154 yards, and a touchdown through the air. He's completed 13 straight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how BYU's defense adjusts. When you look at Bronco Mendenhall, Utah is having success bringing their wide receivers in motion, bringing them across the formation, one-on-one against the linebackers. BYU's have to bring or cheat those safeties up and start to attack those wide receivers coming off the line of scrimmage.
Asiata caught in the backfield on second down.
And that truly is the way you have to stop Matt Asiata. If he gets going downhill, if he's going north and south and breaks that line of scrimmage, he's so strong and so physical. You have to get penetration and get him when he's going lateral to the line of scrimmage, and you can make a play. Jan Jorgensen, with great quickness that time, got there before Asiata had a chance to get going.
3rd and 6. Over the middle and over the head of Freddie Brown.
And that literally is the first poorly thrown ball by Brian Johnson in this football game. And he was trying to get the quick slant back in over the top of the linebackers. Again, this one just got away from him. If you can get 17 points on the board in the 9 minutes in the second quarter without, for your first bad ball, you're having a pretty good football game.
Sakota, finalist for the Ray Guy Award for the nation's best punter. Booted away to Reed White. Drives White back to the 26. Fair catch is made. 49-yard punt. Get more from the Mountain online 24 hours a day at themountain.tv. Access news and video from all your teams. Check out the all-new Mountain Locker Room for a fun look at the latest from the Mountain West. It's all just a click away, themountain.tv. If I miss you guys during the week, I go on there and take a look. And I miss it. Hall steps up, penalty flag flies in. Max scrambling, still on his feet. All the way to the 44 before Wright tackles him.
And there's just a different, and that was again another offside. Utah getting anxious to get in there. There's a different kind of hitch in or jip in the step for this BYU offense after that last drive, and you saw a little more jump to the step of the defense out there. That last drive was huge, and now here's another one that turns us back into a ball game.
Unga and Vakapuna in an I formation. Hall will go from under center. Unga trying to stretch it out, unable to slip free from Paul Kruger. Here's Sammy.
Guys, here is a sneak peek at the trophy that will be given out to the winner as part of the Deseret Duel put on by Deseret First Credit Union. Here's how it works. BYU and Utah will compete in 12 different sports throughout this school year. Score is tied, not surprisingly, at 6 apiece. This game is worth 10 points.
Thank you, Sammy. 2nd down and 9, miscommunication. Unga still rumbles his way into Ute territory.
BYU continues to have success running the football. This is the second drive right there. Travis Blight, number 74, just buried his man. And look at the success that BYU's having. This is the second drive they've had success, and they're going to the heavy set running formation.
And BYU, this time, they come up to the line of scrimmage, and before Utah even sets their defense, they run quarterback sneak. Max Hall rallied the troops on the ball, snap it, and Utah was caught, not set that time defensively.
Checking the spot, it's 3rd down, and they're going to measure. Utah number 7 in the BCS, trying to become the first team from a non-BCS conference to go to 2 BCS bowl games. A look at the BCS standings.
Yeah, I think Utah's in a good position right now. Alabama has off. They get a bye this week. Texas Tech is mixing it up against Oklahoma. I think you're going to see some movement, Blaine, between Alabama. I think for Alabama to beat Florida in that SEC championship game is going to be a tall order. I think Utah's in a great position, or BYU, depending on who comes out on top.
And I think Boise State, they have to play at Nevada, but they also, in terms of strength of schedule, if Utah wins, Boise State's strength of schedule is not enough to catch Utah, because Utah will have beaten a BCS-ranked TCU and a BCS-ranked BYU. So there's no way Boise State catches them if they win.
Agreed. 4th down and 1. Hall leaps forward for the Cougar first down.
I like that call against this Utah defense. They are so quick and get to the gaps. If you turn around and hand that ball deep to Harvey Unga, they have a chance to get to a gap. On this one, there's no chance. You just go right up over the top with the quarterback.
Yeah, well, it also helps when you're going over the top at Dallas Reynolds, who, by the way, is making his 50th career start in college football. I would say that's a pretty safe bet if you're Robert Nye, the offensive coordinator for BYU.
The 50 straight starts, and he's played every position on the offensive line. What a talent. And his brother is the freshman starting left tackle. And Hall looking down the sideline. Reed has it. He's down at the 13. He beat Bryce McCain. 31-yard reception.
And this Utah defense is so dependent on lockdown man-to-man coverage. And on the outside, whether you're playing man or zone, your corners on a vertical route to the sideline are going to be isolated by themselves, especially in 3 deep. You're not going to get a safety. This is just a tremendous adjustment to the ball by Michael Reed going to the outside to get that one.
Cougars looking to tie it at 17. Pressure, Hall has time, batted away.
And so important, Gary Anderson told us, not just for those ends to get upfield, but for the inside players, the tackles, to make a push and get hands up in the face of Max Hall. And that's exactly what happened that time. Good pressure. That pocket was collapsed, and Max Hall couldn't get the ball off.
2nd and 10, I formation. Unga in motion. Hall batted away again. Koamisi forced the issue.
And we've got a flag on the play, but Koamisi, he's been doing that all year. This is a defensive end that has a 34-inch vertical jump. That's crazy. But
there is no foul on the play. The ball was tipped.
So you got Koamisi on the outside. He's unblocked. Watch, the tight end's going to release here, and there's a gap here. Watch Koamisi come aside. Nobody there, and he knows if you can't get to the quarterback, then get that 34-inch vertical up in the air and get those hands in the throwing lane. Back-to-back batted balls for Max Hall.
Hall throws a bullet on 3rd down. McCain, pass interference. Michael Reed was the intended target.
They're going to get pass interference on Bryce McCain, and man coverage. He just got there a little bit early and wrapped his left arm around Michael Reed, and the referee's standing right there.
And it is so hard.
Pass interference, defense number 1. Spot foul, ball be placed at the 2. First down.
It is so hard to defend that slant route, one-on-one. Perfect route and perfect throw will beat perfect coverage every time. It's so difficult, and what you're talking about is coming around with that right one, but they're always looking for that back hand to see if it's around the receiver, and you can see that left hand wrap around the waist. I always err on the side of the defensive guys. I like to give them an opportunity.
I think we're splitting hairs there.
Yeah,
that was. I thought Bryce McCain had good coverage, but you know what? He had him wrapped up on the backside, and that's a judgment call, and he got the flag.
BYU calls a timeout. A look back at 2006. One of the all-time great games in the history of this series. Final play of the game. Beck to Harleen. And the hearts of everybody in a crimson sweatshirt right down into your stomach.
And the emotion in that fourth quarter went back and forth. When Utah scored with just over a minute to go, everyone in this stadium felt like that was the end of it. And I was standing next to Kyle Whittingham's brother. I had the sideline for that game. And he looked up at the clock and he turned to me and he goes, "Whoa, that's way too much time." And I said, "No, there's no way with that." And sure enough, John Beck drove that team down for the game winner as time ran out.
Wonderful win for BYU. And they were on a roll, undefeated in conference until they went down to Fort Worth earlier this season.
Well, and you look at the result that TCU get. Boy, is TCU good? That is a very good football team. The conference is so strong this season.
3 teams in the top 25. First and goal at the 2. Unga behind Hall. Direct snap. Unga left side. Second touchdown of the night.
Wow. We saw a new play on the last series. And did you see what BYU just did there? Max Hall walked like he wanted to. He was going to holler out to Austin Collie and check out of the play. And while he did that, they direct snapped it to Harvey Unga.
Mitch Payne ties it at 17. Unga with the direct snap. We're tied in Salt Lake.
Even in this current economic storm, there's still a silver lining. Rewards checking from Deseret First Credit Union. It's a checking account that pays 5.01% APY. There's no minimum balance, no monthly fees. We'll even pay your ATM fees. To qualify, it's easy. In fact, there are little things you're probably already doing. A checking account that pays you interest? No, that will leave you dancing in the rain. Rewards checking from Deseret First, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel.
Is it time to simplify your life? Switching from a PC to a Mac is simple, seamless, and gives you more time to focus on the things you want to do. At Simply Mac, we're here to make switching fun. Everything you need is under one roof. Mac computers, iPods, and accessories. Everything Apple, including in-store warranty service and repair. And best of all, Simply Mac offers personalized coaching sessions to make this transition as simple as possible. Simply Mac, with 2 Utah locations. We're simply about you.
Hi, I'm Marius Payton. And I'm Bill Dolman. Get the latest news, program guides, and video extras at the Mountain Online. It's total access at your fingertips 24 hours a day. Log on now to the Mountain Online at the MTN.tv.
Want to get froggy with your phone? Text Pound Wingers to 40123 to get a mobile coupon for $5 off your next visit to Wingers. Show your phone to redeem. Learn more at frogzog.com.
BYU going 9 plays, 75 yards. I love the play call by Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator. Watch Max Hall, the quarterback, right there, going to walk to the right side. Appears he's going to check off, and then the direct snap right there to Harvey Unga, the running back. Just Max Hall going out to the right just causes a little bit of confusion of the Utah defense. Look at the ball, trying to figure out what Max Hall is doing. At that point, they direct snap to Harvey Unga. He takes it into the end zone. Love the play call by BYU.
The 9 plays is our Sonic Drive summary.
Did you see Utah's linebackers? They all stood up and started to check out. As he was making a check, they started to make a check. They were not in football position when they snapped the football. Well designed.
Reed from the 2. And the pile moves to the 25. 17-17. Utah's offense, the first time they slowed down was their last drive.
Yeah, you can't blink in this game. And this is how it's been. It looked like Utah was going to run away with this thing. But this game has a way of just working its way to the end and being tight every single year.
The senior from Baytown, Texas. Empty backfield. Cougars rush 4. Castile slips a tackler and gets to the 37. Johnson, a Johnny Unitas Award finalist, and look at the company he is keeping. Graham Harrell from the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Chase Daniel from Missouri. Johnson escapes the pressure, throws complete, tight-roping the sideline is David Reed.
Brian Johnson, just good athletic play, just buying himself some time. Right now, BYU is playing a little cat and mouse game, changing the defensive looks, and Brian Johnson recognizes that, buys himself some time, and David Reed, the wide receiver, just works back to his quarterback. Big conversion for Utah.
Back in Cougar territory. Pocket collapsing, and down he goes. Matt Ayu sacks Brian Johnson.
As you mentioned, John, mixing it up that time. That time they come with a linebacker blitz, they run a twist, and they get to the quarterback, and Brian Johnson, if you're gonna blitz, you've got to take away the first read. And Brian Johnson's first read was taken away, and by that time, as you see the coverage downfield, there's Brandon Howard working on the outside against Freddie Brown. You take away that first read, and now the pressure can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, Brandon Howard and 22, Andrew Rich, the other corner for BYU. Great coverage downfield, setting up the opportunity for the linebacker to come in there and get the sack.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Godfrey gets drilled and dislodged from the ball. Andrew Rich made the hit, and flags fly from every direction. And the point of emphasis this year were no shots directly to a defenseless player's head.
Defense, number 22. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And Rich gets called for the personal foul.
Yeah, Andrew Rich is going to come up from the corner position. Ball's delivered accurately. They're going to see him right there. There's going to be helmet-to-helmet contact right there, right under the chin. Under the chin, and that's something the referees and the officials are going to focus on here in 2008. We've seen it throughout the season. They're going to get that. They're going to throw that flag every time.
He also led with the crown of his helmet.
Yep.
Well, and it's against a player that's coming on a crossing route, and that's when they're really going to watch that, when the defenseless player is out there.
Utah committed a penalty on defense. BYU cashed in. Can the Utes return the favor? Reed to the 29. Brandon Howard had the coverage and pulled off Reed's shoe.
Seeing more of David Reed on this drive. Came into the ball game with 19 catches, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think we're going to continue to see more of him throughout the ball game. Offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig wants to get him more touches in the football game. You're going to see him continue to get more shots, as well as number 85, Jeremy Brooks, as well.
To the ground to pick up the first down. Darrell Mack gets the carry.
Now, in this football game, I've been a little surprised. I thought that Utah would run the football a lot more early in this game, but Brian Johnson was having so much success with the underneath throw game. He was so accurate, they went to that. And we have not seen a steady diet of Mack or Asiata in this game.
From the Cougar 26. Here's Mack moving the pile along the left side to the 19. Mack, a senior, this is final game at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
And what a luxury for Utah having both Matt Asiata and Darrell Mack, two power backs that you can horse up, especially when you get inside the red zone. Big offensive line that you can rub behind. If you look at the play selection for Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator for Utah, 13 runs, 19 passes. Starting to balance out a little bit here as we get deeper into the ball game.
Mack and Asiata split back with Johnson. Mack again, tries the left side, maybe a yard. Sean Doman spearheaded the charge.
Utah totally content right now with three minutes left here in the half. Tie ball game. They've methodically worked their way down the field, starting to assert themselves at the point of attack. And this is the part of the field, 3rd and short inside the red zone. You've got really two options. They can go to the power run game with Asiata Murat or Darrell Mack, or they can go to the 4 wide receivers here, and they like Braden Godfrey there working the middle of the football field.
Little option, Johnson gonna keep it, tries to cut it up, he's stopped short. Doman smelled that one from a mile away.
And back-to-back plays for Doman. Made the tackle on the last play, and then he makes this one on the option.
BYU just did a good job of extending that play. Brian Johnson comes down the line of scrimmage, and watch number 42, Sean Doman, recognize that it's an option play, gets up at the point of attack, and just wraps up Brian Johnson, which is not the easiest thing to do when you have a mobile quarterback. That was a big play by BYU's defense.
Dakota, a 35-yard attempt. Try to put Utah back on top. Timeout is called.
Timeout, BYU, their 2.5.
And I think BYU watched as Utah was going to let that clock run down. I think BYU's thinking with just under 2 minutes to go, they'd like to get a chance to get that football back and try to get it down into field goal position themselves. So they call timeout to preserve time on that time clock.
Lights now taking full effect at Rice-Eccles Stadium as the sun sets behind the Great Salt Lake. You two were downtown today.
We did. Made a little trip downtown.
Took a drive in between the studio show and coming back up for the game. And it was
of course, we were here at 8 in the morning. We needed a little.
It's one of those days.
We've only been here 15 hours.
We needed some sustenance to keep us alive.
And Rich, I did make him take me through a coffee shop.
Yeah. He has to have that double, triple, whatever it is that gets him going.
Trust me.
And then you want him out of your car as soon as he drinks it.
I got rid of that duty a long time ago. Sakota trying to give Utah the lead. King Louis makes 20-17 Utes. 1:41 to go first half. BYU will get the ball and have one timeout.
Yeah, BYU's got plenty of time on the clock to work their way down the football field. It's interesting the play call there by Andy Ludwig inside the red zone. You've had success pounding Matt Asiata. You've had success with Darrell Mack, specifically on that drive. You've got a big offensive line. Why you go to an option play on 3rd down, I wonder about that, because BYU did a nice job of extending that play and coming up with the stop.
Time now for a look at our Suzuki Motorcycles Way of Life Special Teams player. Brought to you by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. Louis Sakota gets it for the season and for his career. What a talent.
He's been incredible.
And it's not just the punch or the accuracy, it's also the game winners and big games.
Under pressure, he is the best there is.
Chambers will field it on a bounce, hit the gas pedal, and gets stopped at the 19. John Peel with the tackle. Usually we ship halftime all the way back to the studios, but they're close today, coming up at the half. Stats and highlights, scores from around the league. and Bill and Bo right here with us inside Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Boys are getting ready to go. And as that sun went down, I noticed the jackets are coming out. Beautiful this afternoon when we were working down in the set, and it's cooled off as that sun's dipped off to the west.
Colley in motion. He's going to take a shot. He's wide open, and he has it at the 39. And with that, he becomes the all-time leading receiver in the history of BYU football.
Looking at Austin Colley coming in motion, and we've seen it all day. Robert and I, the offensive coordinator, wants to continue to get movement with Austin Colley, get him in those one-on-one situations, and right there, you saw Max Hall, recognition. Austin Colley just settles into the zone. Another big grab, another big conversion for the Cougars.
Plenty of time, complete, far side. Colley has it into Ute territory. Stevenson Sylvester tackles number 9, who sets the record, and he's only a junior.
Yeah, that is my first thought when you said that was this guy is a junior. He's got a lot of football to play. He has been on a tear, and teams know he's the man, and they still have a hard time stopping him. He is a very, very talented receiver.
Under a minute in the first half. Bullet far side, caught by Reed.
Utah's going to the prevent defense in their corners. Bryce McCain and Sean Smith are just playing way off the wide receivers for BYU. I actually think they had much better success early in the ballgame getting in their face. And you know, you give Max Hall and those wide receivers that much cushion. That's just pitch and catch. That's an easy conversion for BYU.
I would not be surprised to see at some point in this drive for Gary Anderson to bring some people. He trusts those corners enough that they can lock people down, that he's not afraid to blitz, and here they come.
Hall gets it away, and it's almost intercepted, dropped by Robert Johnson.
And Max Hall immediately looked out to Austin Colley and hit on his chest and said, my fault. Threw the ball where I shouldn't throw the ball. But Utah did come. They brought the blitz that time. We're expecting. Here was Austin Colley getting into his route. He's breaking down on a curl, and a slant ball is thrown by Max Hall.
On third down, floater, this one's intercepted. Joe Dale, his second of the year.
There's a flag that was thrown after the play, Rich, and it'll be interesting. If this is a penalty on BYU, now all of a sudden you're very close to Louis Sakota's range for another field goal.
Utah has 2 timeouts remaining.
After the play, personal foul, number 15, BYU. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Hall throws his 9th interception of the year and then gets called for a personal foul.
Yeah, it's a costly penalty for BYU. You don't see a quarterback get called for a personal foul. I don't think I've ever seen it since I've been covering the game, but the reason it's important, you got 36 seconds left, and you got Louis Sakota standing on the sideline. You've got a big leg. If Utah can work their way down the field and set up an opportunity for Sakota to get out there and kick a long field goal.
Johnson lets it fly, sideline route, pass is caught by Brown.
The crazy thing is, I think it was Paul Kruger who he was taking on out there, that he was in a little scuffle with out there, and Paul Kruger turned around to the official and said, what's going on? The flag came down. Yeah, and they're just one throw away from Louis Sakota's field goal range now. So that 15-yard penalty is as big as the interception is on this one.
Sakota's long on the season is 53. Plenty of time with 2 timeouts remaining. Johnson pulls it down. Going to tuck it and get out of bounds. A lot of ground covered, only 4 yards gained.
Yeah, Brian Johnson was trying to go to the left side, and they were trying to get Brent Castile dragging underneath in front of the linebackers there. BYU had good coverage, but Johnson recognizes that, just tucks the football, gets a positive gain, and you still got 21 seconds left in your timeout. Heads up play by Brian Johnson.
One of the things I've been most impressed with him this year, his senior season, is his decision making.
Yep.
He hasn't forced a lot of balls this year.
Johnson going to take a shot. He's got Reed. Touchdown. .32-yard touchdown, Johnson to Reed.
And they're going to blow the whistle, and as is customary now, any play that's close, they're going to review. And so they'll take a look at that one. But David Reed, what a great catch. Well, this was inbounds. That was an unbelievable adjustment to the ball and catch.
Watch David Reed on the right side, and Brian Johnson puts that football in a perfect position.
It looked like that left foot was down to me. It looked like it was inbounds and down, and that left foot looked like he had control of the ball, like the left foot was down. I think that one is going to stand. And Reed is a guy that they have great hopes for next year. He's getting more and more play this year, but they got these senior wide receivers, a logjam, but he has made some big plays. And this is a guy national junior college record, 111 receptions in 10 games.
That's our best angle right there. I think they'll uphold
After
this.
further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Yeah, David Reed clearly got his foot down on that play. What a great toss by Brian Johnson, though, because David Reed doesn't come down with that football. That ball is incomplete. They set up the field goal attempt. Great execution by Utah.
.14 seconds to go in the first half. 10-point lead for Utah. Brian Johnson has completed 18 of his last 19.
And when you play zone defense, when you play 3 deep, and the receiver goes to the sideline, you're all by yourself out there. You don't have help. So here's the corner. He knows it's all his at this point. You got Brandon Bradley in good position, but just a great individual effort and play. And don't forget what set that up, guys, and that was an interception on a drive where BYU was hoping to get a field goal, followed by a 15-yard penalty. And here's that interception. And here's Max Hall, and then he just knocks Paul Kruger to the ground.
Yeah, Paul Kruger is just jawing a little bit at Max Hall, but we talked about it early in the ball game. One of the things that's important in these type of games, field position, turnover, special teams, penalties. We talk about that because a lot of times these games turn on just a few plays. You got to have more composure than Max Hall showed right there, because he got the 15-yard penalty, which set up Utah for that drive.
Roman line drives it, and it'll be covered at the 24 by Chambers. Sonic drive summary. 3 plays, 44 yards, 32 of them on the reception by David Reed. And the Cougars will head to the clubhouse, trailing by 10. And the mighty Utah student section is rocking. This game has certainly lived up to its billing. Number 7 Utah, number 14 BYU. Let's go downstairs. Here's Sammy Linebaugh.
Coach, the momentum shifted about 6 times in that first half. Talk about Brian Johnson. He has led this fight.
Brian's done a nice job in the first half. Very accurate, making good decisions. Disappointing, we left a couple turnovers on the field with our secondary. Had a couple opportunities to pick balls. We got to capitalize on those.
BYU offensively has shown some new looks. What adjustments do you make defensively?
Oh, we just got to tackle better. We got to cover better. Nothing more than that.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Our score at halftime, Utah 27, BYU 17. Stay tuned for Live at the Stadium from Rice-Eccles Stadium is coming up right after this break. Today's presentation of the Deseret First Duel on the Mountain is brought to you by Deseret First Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel. 2 schools, 12 sports, 1 champion. Telesphere, business telecommunications simplified. Visit telesphere.com today. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. And by Frogzog. Text FUN, FOOD, or AUTO to 40123. Mobile coupons on your phone. Frogzog.com. Sun setting in Salt Lake City as we get ready for the start of the second half here at Rice-Eccles Stadium. The home team leading BYU by 10. Rich Cellini, Blaine Fowler, John Berger. Let's revisit our Dodge keys to the game. First for the Utes.
Well, the Utes, we said that they needed to get pressure on Max Hall, and while they didn't get a ton of pressure on him, they did collapse the pocket enough to get their hands on some footballs. They did block some passes, which led to that. And then we talked about protecting the football, and I think that was the key for Utah in that first half, that they did not turn the football over in that first half. That was huge.
All right, Mr. Berger, Dodge keys to the game for BYU.
Well, coming into the ball game, I thought it was important for BYU to have some balance on offense. And everybody says, well, this is a passing team. What do you mean by having balance? Well, you know, they had success in the first half running the football. Utah's only given up 95 yards on the ground. Harvey Young has got 60 yards in the first half, so BYU's having some success mixing that up. The other thing is, I talked about the intangibles, field position, turnovers, special teams. BYU has had a couple costly penalties that cost them points.
Time now for a look at our Cricket Connection play, brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Real unlimited, unreal savings. And it's hauled to Austin Collie, and with this reception, Austin Collie becomes the all-time leading wide receiver in the history of BYU football. Let's go downstairs to Toby Christensen.
I had an opportunity to talk with Coach Mendenhall just now, and Coach Mendenhall was really frustrated with the execution of his team. He said, I was convinced we were going to go into the half tied with them, and because of a poor decision by Max and a lack of execution, we're now down 10 points. And when I asked him, well, what do you need to change in the second half? He said, that's it. He's like, we're not going to make very many adjustments. We just need to execute better. Right now, Utah is out executing us, and that's the difference in this game, guys.
Thank you, Toby. They talk about position mastery and things that need to be done. They've added some nice wrinkles on the offensive end. But again, as Bronco said, lack of execution is why you're down by 10. And that's what it comes down to in two evenly matched teams.
Yeah, when you got teams that are as talented as Utah, as talented as BYU, it's very evenly matched, and that's what we talked about early in the ball game. It's going to come down to a handful of plays. Right now, Utah is making those plays. BYU is not. But you know what? BYU's in a good position. I got the impression, or you kind of felt like Utah had an opportunity to really get on top of BYU. BYU battled back. It's only a 10-point ball game, and they have a run game established right now.
You're watching the Deseret First Duel from Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah, and this place is sold out. Rich Cellini, John Berger, Blaine Fowler upstairs, Sammy Linebaugh, and Toby Christensen on the sidelines. BYU won the toss. They deferred. They'll get the ball to start the second half, trailing by 10. Ben Roman to kick it off. Collie returned 170 yards in the first half. And Roman has been kicking it in the direction of O'Neal Chambers ever since. Here's Chambers, the freshman. Surrounded at the 15. Eddie Wide, the backup running back, with the special team stop.
And we talked earlier in the game, Rich and John, about a must drive. And I think for BYU, the momentum went right out of their sails at the end of the half. And this for this offense right now is a huge drive. How can you say that this early in the second? But it is. This is a big, big drive.
It's important for BYU to set the tone up front right here on this drive and establish how the second half is going to play out in the trenches.
Empty backfield. Hall with time, hits Colley. Complete up to the 24. Sean Smith was locked on number 9.
We thought coming into this that maybe Sean Smith might follow because he's the bigger of the DBs, follow Austin Colley around, but BYU's moved him around and put him in different spots, and so everyone's had a little bit of a chance. McCain and Smith have had him the most.
Now Colley's going to take the direct snap. And he'll use his speed to get to the 35 before Smith pops him in the mouth.
Number 4, Sean Smith, was tied up with Max Hall, the quarterback. Austin Colley takes the direct snap, and we saw it earlier, Matt Alciata of the Wildcat formation taking the direct snap and just stick it in the end zone for Utah, and we're going to see more of that throughout this half. And then right here again, look at the trick play by Max Hall, walks out to the right side, freezes the linebacker, creates confusion on the Utah defense, and Unga takes it into the end zone.
Pitch to Colley, looking left side. Right missed the tackle. Colley gets 3.
And what Austin Colley is so good at, he makes people miss. First of all, that's why he's such a good kick returner. You don't feel he's very good. He is deceivingly strong. This is a big receiver, and he flat out can run. That combination makes you as an offensive coordinator think, how can I get this guy more touches?
6'2", 206 pounds. Second and 8. Hall's pass is knocked down by Derek Shelby. He's thinking he should have had an interception. Third deflected pass at the line of scrimmage by Utah.
Utah doing a nice job up front defensively. Third time they batted the football away. We've seen Koamisi get one. Watch number 90, watch Derek Shelby. He's going to bleed into the passing lane. He's just going to get his hands up right there. He's manned up against the running back, just gets his hands up, bats that football away. Heads up play by Derek Shelby.
245-pound freshman hanging on for all he's worth against the 320-pounders from BYU. He gets a breather on the sideline. Third down and 8. Pressure. Hall hit as he throws. It's incomplete.
Utah doing a nice job bringing pressure. Watch Paul Kruger come off the edge. We talked about Gary Anderson, the defensive coordinator, mixing it up. This time on 3rd and long, they bring pressure. Utah on the back 7 goes zone. Good coverage downfield. Heads up play by Paul Kruger, getting the sack and really setting the tone, giving their offense an opportunity to get some decent field position for their first possession here of the second half, Wayne.
And he talked about having an inside and outside rush. They had 4 guys with good pressure that time. That makes the difference.
Santiago turns over a beauty. And Castile will let it bounce into the end zone. 62 yards on the punt. 13:37 remaining, 3rd quarter. Utah's first possession coming up.
BYU versus Utah. The Deseret First Duel. The biggest game of the year. But that's not what this crowd is cheering about. It's rewards checking from Deseret First, a checking account that pays you 5.01% APY. There's no minimum balance, no monthly fees. We'll even pay your ATM fees. To qualify, it's easy. In fact, they're little things you're probably already doing. Rewards checking from Deseret First, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel.
Wow, this brown bag special is really amazing.
I know, it's a great deal.
I mean, never in my life did I think I would get this much food for $6.99. It's like one of the happiest days of my life right now.
Really? How about our wedding day?
The food was on that day too, but I think that this still probably wins.
Brown bag special. Sonic's got it, others don't. A Sonic-sized deal with 2 burgers, 2 tots, and 2 drinks for just $6.99. And for dessert, try the new Sticky Bun Dough Blast.
locally grown vine-ripe tomatoes. There's nothing more refreshing. Even better, because these growers and their families live and work here in the community, like your Sinclair station. We're a family-owned business operated by a family, a part of the community. And just like farm fresh produce, Sinclair's homegrown quality is refueling America.
Sinclair, we're about as American as it gets.
Final college football festival of the season in Salt Lake. Little cotton candy there, fellas. Coming up next, we have more coverage right here from Rice Eccles on the mountain, live at the stadium. Join Bill and Bo for all the highlights and complete analysis from today's matchup. It's all coming up next, presented in HD right here on the mountain.
That is, when my kids were little, that was a nightmare right there. that much sugar, and it was going all over the place at the house. That was a nightmare right there. Cotton candy.
Oh. First down and 10. Johnson's first pass of the second half, much like all of his throws first, right on the money. Freddie Brown, his favorite target, has another reception, good for 15.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Andy Ludwig dials up the offense here. Utah can make a statement, up by 10, having a lot of success in the short passing game. Brian Johnson delivers it accurately over to Freddie Brown, but they've also had success running the football. It's going to be interesting to see how BYU responds on this Utah drive. This is a critical drive in this ball game.
5 wide receiver set. Plenty of time over the middle to midfield. Bradley makes the tackle. Brown with another catch, this one for 17.
And the key for Brian Johnson, this offensive line has done a tremendous job of creating a pocket and leaving him throwing lanes. He's able to step up. If the quarterback, if you're buying time, you like to be able to kind of inch forward. You want everything going downfield, and this line has created a great pocket. You see the one-on-one coverage on the outside. Freddie Brown runs right out of a shoe. He's so fast, he ran right out of his shoe.
7 catches, 88 yards for the senior from Laverne, California, Freddie Brown. Utah's leading wide receiver. Here comes pressure from the Cougars. And miscommunication in the backfield between Mack and Johnson. It would be a loss on the play.
But that's one of those ones when you're a quarterback and that happens.
You're please like, take the ball.
You're like, no, I really do not want this right here. and then you're stuck with it, and you know that the best thing to do is, and Johnson's experienced enough to know, just get down on the ground, which he did, and don't turn the ball over on that. Come back on second down and play.
Loss of 5. He'll throw on second down. Room to run. Buries his shoulders and crashes to the 33. Bauman with the tackle.
A mobile quarterback like Brian Johnson puts a lot of pressure on a defense. I can't tell you, talk to any defensive coordinator in the country, and the thing they'll tell you is you don't like playing mobile quarterbacks because they can improvise. When there's coverage downfield, even if everything goes right on your defense and you have a quarterback as mobile and as athletic as Brian Johnson, sticks it right up into the heart of the BYU defense, now you have a third and very manageable down and distance.
They need 4 for a first down. Cougars rush 3. Johnson down the sideline for Brown, incomplete. Colby Clausen had the coverage.
And Brown had run out of bounds before the reception anyhow. Receivers coming up to the line of scrimmage and talking to each other about, okay, what do I do if it's this defense? You've got the veteran Freddie Brown and Brooks, the young guy. And Brown's going to tell him, hey, this is what you do. This is where you're going. BYU had the right defense called that time for that throw. They did the play before, but Brian Johnson made a play with his feet.
Sakota on to punt. And he has been deadly at pinning people deep in their own territory this year. Reed White makes the fair catch at the 12. 10:52 to go, third quarter. Utah still leading by 10.
I was limited. With my old cell plan, I had to talk on their time, not mine. That's why I switched to Cricket. Now I'm unlimited for real.
Why spend up to $99 with the other guys when Cricket gives you unlimited talk, text, and more for just $45 a month? Real Unlimited from Cricket can save you over $600 a year with no contracts, no overages, and no credit checks. Plus, visit a Cricket store today and get your first month of service free. Call 1-800-354-8595 now. Cricket Wireless. Real Unlimited, unreal savings.
We're 3 minutes out. Put us on that ticket.
183. How many occupants are in the vehicle? Your transmission was broken. How many occupants?
This will be 147, boys. Just one occupant in the vehicle this time.
That's awesome.
Very attractive.
I love it.
Lots of room back there in the back. Yeah, it's got all kinds of room in it, man.
We drove it down a huge mountain. It's still as smooth as can be. Loads of power.
Hemi, top it up.
Can't even feel the trailer back there.
Go, 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 go!
Back at the sold-out Rice-Eccles Stadium, Rich Cellini, John Berger, Blaine Fowler, Sammy Linebaugh, and Toby Christensen down on the sidelines in this sold-out house, enjoying what has been a championship battle between these two. Cougars' second possession of the second half. They trail by 10. Hall's pass is batted down by Kruger. Fifth batted ball by the Ute defenders.
Utah doing a nice job as a defensive line, just bleeding into those passing lanes and batting those footballs away.
Here's Toby.
Well, you guys, we talked about the rivalry between Austin Collie and these two corners, and I've noticed the entire first half, anytime that Utah wants to press Collie, they use Sean Smith, and when they're in the off coverage, they're using Bryce McCain. They're trying to give him different looks and use the strengths of those corners to stop Austin. And so far, they've done a pretty good job. Rich?
Thank you, Toby. Rumor goes nowhere. Stevenson Sylvester had him around the shoulders.
And here's what Toby is talking about in terms of coverage. This is Smith playing the press coverage. He's on the outside. They got people working him from the inside. They've tried to throw the ball to Collie 8 times. They've got 5 completions on 8 attempts out to Austin Collie.
Cougars 1 for 6 on third down. It's 3rd and 10. All complete to Pitta. First time tonight we've called Dennis Pitta's name. It's a first down for BYU.
That's what BYU's offense was missing. Dennis Pitta, the tight end, came into the ball game with 76 reception, close to 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and that's what they've been missing. Dennis Pitta comes out, finds an open spot in that zone and just settles, and it's great delivery, good protection up front by the BYU offensive line, and they've got to get Pitta more involved in this ball game as they get deeper into the second half here.
And with that 16-yard reception, Pitta now over 1,000 receiving yards on the season. All complete over the middle. Reed White has the catch. Rice and Cole co-authored the tackle.
And previous to that completion to Pitta, I was on the next drive. I was thinking, would we even call Dennis Pitta's name tonight? He's been such an integral part of what they do.
Fast snap for the Cougars, batted away and almost intercepted. Smith batted it away. Cole almost came up with it.
And this Utah defense has done a terrific job. In the quick throw game, you know you can't get to the quarterback, so you get in the throw lanes. And every time Utah's had a person in position that they knew couldn't get to the quarterback, they're getting up off their feet, they're getting in the throwing lanes and making big-time plays.
6 batted balls by the Utah defense. What a phenomenal job. Koemisi just getting up and batting that football away.
3rd and 5, and Rice Eccles is rocking. Colley makes the reception. Smith with the tackle, looks to be good enough to move the chains.
Boy, and that, John, was within about an inch of getting batted that time. Good inside pressure from Utah, and Gary Anderson told us last night that that's what they had to do. If they had to get pressure from their tackles, they've done a great job. But Max Hall gets rid of that ball quick, on time, and Austin Colley gets the first.
Karika on 1st down. Koemisi with the tackle.
And if you look at Sean Smith, he's manned up on coverage in Austin Colley, and watch as Colley just runs him out of the picture there, because Utah has so much respect for Austin Colley. The defensive back has his back turned. Colley does a nice job of just running him out of the play, and that's normally a play where the defensive back would come up in support of the run play.
Vakapuna batters his way to the 38. He ran over Mike Wright.
You know what BYU's done with their run game? We've seen some new wrinkles. That was a design play to go backside, a predetermined back cut. And I think what BYU's seen in this Utah defense, they are so aggressive. They run to the ball so hard. You need to do that. You need to go and take advantage of that. Run then pass the play.
Vakapuna again on 1st down. And he carries 3 red jerseys for 11.
Blaine, I thought you brought up a good point. We talked early in the ball game, and if you look at the blocking up front by Travis Bright and David Oswald, they're just blowing open holes, on this case for Fui Vakapuna, and watch the blocking up front. You look at the Utah defense, they're so fast, so athletic, but they just get locked up by the offensive line. The offensive lineman gets to the 2nd level and just springs Fui Vakapuna.
Oh, far side on 1st down. Penalty flag flies. Michael Reed was covered by Bryce McCain. And McCain's going to get called again.
Yeah, McCain's going to argue his case, but they just got locked up. McCain got his arms wrapped around Michael Reed. That's the 2nd time we've seen him in coverage get flagged.
Number 1 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
When you're running the ball effectively like BYU has on this drive, all of a sudden those play action passes, now you got isolation on the outside. And the thing that Michael Reed did there, most of the time when you go vertical on the outside, you want to get to the outside of the DB. That time, he took a step to the outside and came inside of Bryce McCain, and McCain grabbed because it surprised him.
Yeah, McCain didn't have a choice. He was trying to balance himself and gather himself to bat that football away, and that was a heads-up play by number 3, Michael Reed.
Una on 1st down. Has a hole. Down the sideline, bounced out of bounds. They'll mark him out at the 6.
Right now, BYU offensively has the Utah defense completely back on their heels. They went in at halftime. They made the adjustments. We've seen Max Hall hit the short pass game. Watch the blocking, watch the stretch play up front, and they've got a whole block of Utah defenders just walled off. Big block by number 3, Michael Reed, and then Unga gets the corner, sets up another a manageable down and distance, 2nd and short inside the red zone for the Cougars.
Unga behind Vakapuna. And I don't know which side is going to get called for jumping.
That just looked ugly.
Everybody moved.
That just looked ugly. And usually when it's really ugly, it's the offense.
False start. 70 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And this is a big one because you got a 2nd and 1. You've got 2 running downs where you're pretty confident if you run it twice, you're going to get a 1st down. This changes this 2nd down play in a huge way.
2nd and 2 to 2nd and 7. The freshman Matt Reynolds had the full start. Hall gonna keep it himself. Break a tackle and score the touchdown.
And that is a good call, and I'll tell you why. BYU doesn't do that. They have not done that this year. You rarely see BYU on a design quarterback draw. They get in the spread and they run. And if you're Utah, you haven't seen that on film. So you're going to get out and cover those people. And Max Hall does a good job of picking his way to the end zone.
That's not the first thing Utah hadn't seen on film tonight. 3-point game. 6:46 remaining, third quarter. The All-American candidate, Max Hall, doing it with his feet. Timeout in Salt Lake.
Just because you have an avocado doesn't mean you have guacamole. The Guacamole Bacon $6 burger with freshly prepared guacamole, only at Carl's Jr.
We've had our first taste of winter, and more's on the way. So head into Big O Tires for road gripping snow tires as low as $38 each. While you're here, drop off food donations for the Utah Food Bank, and we'll give you a free holiday turkey when you buy 4 Big O brand tires. So dig into savings with turkeys for tires, only at Big O.
We got you covered at Big O.
Want to get froggy with your phone? Text pound Megaplex to 40123 to get a mobile coupon for a free small popcorn with the purchase of 2 movie tickets. Show your phone to redeem. Learn more at frogzog.com.
3-point game at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Utah 27, BYU 24. Sonic drive summary. 11 plays, 83 yards. 11-yard run for Max Hall.
And we keep talking about answering. Now it's Utah's turn. Utah, and it just seems like either team that gets stopped, the other team's going to go down and score on the next play. And so Utah, they turn the ball over on downs on that last one. BYU goes down and scores. Utah needs to answer here.
Sorensen mishits one, bobbled around, gathered by one of the up men, and breaking into the open up to the 44-yard line.
And kick cover these days is so specific. You expect the ball to be in a certain place, and BYU tries to kick down, and they want that ball to be outside of the numbers and deep. And when the ball doesn't go where it's supposed to, that seriously affects your coverage.
Well, Justin Sorensen just hit that ball fat. And anytime, as a return unit, you got to make the decision, do I let that ball go or do I pick it up? And that time Utah made the right decision, came up with a big play.
Asiata on the swing pass outside. Let's go downstairs to Toby Christensen.
Well, you guys, just following up on that last kickoff, what I was just talking about with somebody else was the difference in kicking off in this cold weather versus the beginning of the game. Sorensen's first 2 kicks were both for touchbacks without a problem. They were well into the end zone. And now it's like kicking a rock. It's gotten so cold that it makes a huge difference. And as we can see, it's benefiting Utah because the field position, instead of at the 20, now they're here, they're starting about the 40-yard line. So it's a big difference trying to kick that ball because it gets really hard when it gets cold out there.
Thank you, Toby. Castile on 2nd down and 3. We'll get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, and that is a tough spot to be in. If you're a strong safety, Castile has such quickness and stop and start ability.
Yep.
And David Tafuna found himself out there one-on-one. He did a great job just to get a hand on the feet of Brent Castile and bring him to a stop. That's
when you have big startability.
That's stop and startability, man.
I like it.
That's in the dictionary. Is that in the dictionary?
I'm with you. I'm following you.
John, when I said that, John looked at me like, what is stop and startability? Rich isn't going to take sides on this.
Here comes pressure on third down. Johnson makes some pay. No, incomplete. Brown couldn't hold on to it. Kellen Fowler broke it up.
And BYU that time elected to go blitz and to go one-on-one on the outside. And it's a read right. He's going to throw it back inside. And Brandon Bradley actually comes over the top. Fowler underneath. And David Tafuna also on top. In blitz coverage, you have to make the defense pay. Brian Johnson made the throw, but the ball was dropped.
Scotta will punt. Good kick. And it'll spin its way into the end zone.
As good as Scotta is, John, I expect when he kicks the ball and it hits on the one, that it's going to check up and spin backward. I mean, we've seen him so many times.
He's at that kind of year. Right.
The three of us had that New Mexico game, and it was a tight ball game at the end. Lou Scotta kicks it to the one, and it just settles in.
27-24, BYU football.
But BYU has a chance now in this drive to really grab the momentum. I think they have it right now, and they can grab it by the throat with this drive.
Plenty of time. Hall looking for Unga on the far side. Incomplete. Coming up tonight, the Mountain Cat brings you all the best from the week in the Mountain West. Join our team for total coverage of your teams. Scores, plays, playmakers from around the conference. The Mountain Cat tonight at 10, right here on the Mountain.
Rich momentum and body language right now. If you're looking at the two teams on the field right now, you get the sense in the body language that BYU feels very strongly about where they're at in this game. You get the sense that Utah is a bit back on their heels, trying to recover from a couple of mistakes here. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out here as this game goes forward.
Second down, a dart is caught by Reed, and he gets a shot put on him.
I don't know if you can cover that any better than Bryce McCain just did. He was in the hip pocket of Michael Reed, and you've heard me say this before. A great route, a perfect route, and a perfect throw will beat perfect coverage every time. That's perfect coverage, but the throw and the route were perfect, and the offense comes up with it.
Third and 1. Hall's going to go to the air, looking for Colley. He makes the catch. First down, BYU. R.J. Stanford couldn't deny Colley the catch.
That's back-to-back plays where there's excellent coverage. Stanford is in good position. He's got his left hand on the back. He's trying to strip that ball away. But Austin Colley uses his body. It's almost like posting up in basketball. He goes out there, he puts his body between the defender and the quarterback, and it's a perfect throw.
Play action on first down. Colley again steps out at the 42. Utah looking for an answer to try to slow down number 9. Unga burrows his way to the 47. It'll be a first down for BYU.
That is a great description, Rich, because that's what he did. He burrowed. He looked like an earthworm down there. He did not have the first down at contact, and he burrowed his way for a first down. I love it. Burrowed. I've never heard you use burrow.
Startability and burrow.
Cole trying to apply a little pressure, unable to get there. This is intercepted. Intercepted by Johnson.
And a misread that time. Max Hall thought he had one-on-one coverage and bump coverage on the outside, and he did not see the safety coming over the top to make this play. Here's the tight coverage. Good position. Austin Colley with a hesitation. Now watch the help over the top.
R.J. Stanford had the coverage. It was the perfect situation. Robert Johnson, the safety, comes up over the top. It's going to be interesting to see.
Does he come down? The question is, does he come down in bounds?
And he gets his left foot down right there.
I think that is an amazing play.
What an athletic
by Robert Johnson.
Because
that left heel, he's got the ball in his hands, and that left heel touches inbounds.
They're going to take another look at it.
Previous play is under review. Ruling on the field is interception.
Just as an observation, guys, that's a third play seeing R.J. Stanford manned up in coverage in the second half. In the first half, we saw Bryce McCain, we saw Sean Smith, and they're going to get some fresh legs out on the field. I think this is a clear catch. You're going to see Johnson elevate, his left foot right there comes down inbounds. It's going to be interesting to see if they ruled that his left arm had hit the ground before that foot lands inbound. But from this angle, it appears his left foot hits the ground.
Sammy Linebaugh had a good view of the play.
Just about slid right into my feet here. From my perspective, he did catch it in bounds virtually. It's hard to tell on the elbow, but his feet, it was a phenomenal athletic play, as you said, keeping both feet in bounds as he slid out.
Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah, the other thing that was impressive was that he caught it with his hands. He didn't try to catch it against his chest. Let's listen.
It's confirmed. First down.
Just as we suspected, but he did a great job of catching that ball in his hands, controlling it in his hands, and then coming down with it.
Big turnover. The Ute defense, which looked to be a little bit back on their heels and grabbing for the ropes, comes up with a big play.
Yep, that was huge. We talked about it. Momentum in college football is different than any other sport that you'll watch. And a big play like that, when you get a big play, you've got to take advantage of that right now, and it's up to the Utah offense to mount a sustained drive.
Mack to the 30. Sorensen rides him down from behind.
Utah looking at this point in the ball game, up 27-24. I think you're going to see a sustained dose of Darrell Mack and Matt Asiata in that power run game, especially at this part of the football field. Now, you know that Andy Ludwig, once he works his way out of this field, he's willing to take those shots downfield, but it's important for Utah to be safe with the football right now.
Mack now goes next to Johnson. Johnson escapes pressure. Slides down at the 31.
Well, and on that one, he slid down 2 yards short of the first down. He wasn't aware of where that first down stick was. That's one I think he would have liked to maybe put the shoulder down that time.
He had room.
He easily could have had that first down, no question.
Now that makes it 3rd and 2. Utah 3 of 8 on 3rd down. Johnson keeps it and goes nowhere. Sorensen snuffed it out. Clausen in there as well. Second time they've tried that play tonight on 3rd and short. It hasn't worked either time.
Yeah, that was great recognition by Colby Clausen. Utah's trying to run a zone replay. Brian Johnson is going to try. You're going to see Darrell Mack come across, and what great execution. They should have handed the football right there to Darrell Mack, and Brian Johnson pulls the football. Colby Clausen, great recognition. Huge play on that 3rd down. Now it forces Utah to punt the football. BYU's going to get good field position on this next drive.
What an answer by the BYU defense after the turnover. Dakota drives one to the 22. White makes the catch. The dean of coaches in the Mountain West Conference has stepped down. Rocky Long, after 11 years at the University of New Mexico. called it quits. Winningest coach in Lobo history with 65 wins. 5 bowls in the last 7 seasons. Look at that, 6 bowls in the previous 63 seasons. And they won the New Mexico Bowl last year, their first bowl win since 1961. One of the upfront, honest men in college football. He'll be missed as a head coach, Unga, on first down, but I wouldn't be surprised to see old Rocky with the headset on as a defensive coordinator somewhere.
Oh, he'd be great in that role. And, you know, you look at that press conference, and I just, you know, you look at Mexico as a program and where they were before Rocky Long got there, and he's going to be sorely missed. A great man and a great coach.
You know, he commented on that. They'll find somebody better than me. I don't know how they'll find a guy that fits better at New Mexico than Rocky Long.
He was an alumni. Standout quarterback in his playing days. 2nd down and 3. Winding down the 3rd quarter. Hall looking to run, lost the football. Utah ball. Kruger came up with it.
Max Hall trying to escape, trying to get away from the pressure, and he sticks it up. He's trying to escape that pressure, and the ball gets jarred loose before he hits the ground. Heads up play by Paul Kruger. Koamisi right there jars the football loose, and then great hustle by Paul Kruger coming up over the top, diving on that football, giving their offense great field position here to start the next drive.
Consecutive turnovers on offensive possessions for BYU. Interception, now a fumble. 3rd turnover of the day for the Cougars. Johnson dumps it down. Asiata to the 25. What is the final play of the 3rd quarter? Utes have the football following this Max Hall fumble, back with the final 15 minutes.
The Mountain, the most live conference games.
Here's a little showtime, attacking the basket and hammering it home. Going to the house, got it, touchdown! The greatest upset in the history of the Mountain West Conference.
Premier reporting of Mountain West news.
The best thing about being 6-0 is the chance to be 7-0.
I'm actually going to be in the NBA arena, just, you know, fulfilling my dreams.
If it happens in the Mountain West, you'll see it on the Mountain. Mountain West Sports Network.
The latest scores.
Richards needs a block. Nobody's going to get him. He's got a man in the end zone.
The week's top highlights.
Here comes the blitz and drop to the turf. It's got a guy. Do they connect? Yes, they do.
And the headline stories from across the conference.
The teams that needed to win had great games.
Another game down to the wire. Our defense is spectacular.
Get the best from the Mountain West every week on the Mountain Cat. Tonight at 10, only on the Mountain.
It's about teamwork,
strength from unity,
rising to the moment,
reaching for greatness.
It's where excellence becomes reality.
And team becomes the ultimate champion.
This is Mountain West basketball.
And this is where we play. The Mountain, where the West is one.
Tuesday at 7:30, Louisville challenges Utah in Mountain West women's basketball. Live from Salt Lake City, right here on the Mountain.
The Mountain West, a conference of tradition, a conference of pride, and at its core, a community built by every athlete, every team, each with a story to share. Trust our team to tell the stories of your teams, because we are fans first, because we know the stories that matter to you, because your conference is our conference. The Mountain View, presented by Dodge.
Thursday and Friday at 7 on the Mountain.
3-point game as we head to the 4th quarter in Salt Lake. Numbers through the first 3 quarters brought to you by Les Olson Company and Sharp Copiers, a winning combination.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, and the thing that really jumps out at me is you've got a 27-24 ball game, Utah up by 3, yet BYU has committed 3 turnovers. Very fortunate to still be in this ball game, and now you put your defense in a position where they've got to step up. You talk about sudden change, great defensive football teams. BYU is going to have to step up here and try to force Utah to kick the field goal versus letting them in for the touchdown.
2nd down and 4. Johnson to Brown to the 16. 1st down, Utah.
And how good was Brian Johnson's look off and bow to the flat? That sets this play. He looks down the middle of the field, moves the linebackers, and then goes right back outside. That's a senior quarterback making a senior throw.
Asiata in the backfield. Johnson complete. Stepping out at the 9 is Jeremy Brooks. The sophomore has been busy tonight.
He has. Brian Johnson. We talk about the play of quarterbacks in big games in the 4th quarter, and one of the things to remember is the 3 game-winning drives that Johnson has orchestrated just this year against Air Force, against Oregon State, and TCU.
Castile, far side, breaks the tackle to the pylon. Touchdown, Utah. Second touchdown tonight for Brent Castile. Back to a 10-point lead for Utah. Castile with the catch and the slip and the score.
Introducing Cricket Broadband. Surf the net, save the cash. Go to mycricket.com/broadband to learn more. Cricket Broadband. Real unlimited, unreal savings. Starting today, the internet fits your life and your budget. Just $1.33 a day. Go to mycricket.com/broadband to learn more. Cricket Broadband. Real unlimited, unreal savings.
Steel and your local Steel dealers say bring on the season. We're ready. Ready for leaves with Steel blowers. Blowers like the BG55, now just $149.95. Ready with the Steel Combi system. Buy just 1 power head and up to 13 available attachments that allow you to trim, cultivate, edge, prune, and more. Get the KM55R Combi motor now for just $199.95. Add the blower attachment for just $129.95. Steel, premium brand, affordable price.
Hi, I'm Marius Payton. And I'm Bill Dolman. Get the latest news, program guides, and video extras at the Mountain Online. It's total access at your fingertips 24 hours a day. Log on now to the Mountain Online at the MTN.TV.
Want to get froggy with your phone? Text keyword fun, food, or auto to 40123 for mobile coupons in your area. That's fun, food, or auto to 40123. Learn more at frogzog.com.
Following the BYU turnover, the Sonic Drive summary, 4 plays, 31 yards. Second time tonight, Utah has hashed in a Cougar turnover for 6 points.
And this Utah team is too good on offense to give a 31-yard field. And they are very good and have been all season at turning turnovers into points.
The other thing, guys, is listen to the crowd. Crowd's back in the game. For a while there in the second half, things just kind of bogged down for Utah. They get the big play. They get a 31-yard field. They get the ball in the end zone. Now all the emotion and all the momentum back on Utah's side. It's up to BYU to respond.
Roman sends it 2 yards deep. Colley knocked off his horse at the 18. Big hit by Deshaun Richard. Big O Tires Mountain West Conference scoreboard. Colorado State is bowl eligible with the win over the Cowboys. TCU handled Air Force in Fort Worth, and in the first quarter, Rebels and the Aztecs tied at 7. Big possession for BYU. Hall gets it away, incomplete. Kruger applied the pressure. We go downstairs to Sammy Linebaugh.
Injury update on starting stud linebacker for Utah, Nai Fotu. He has a knee sprain. He is out for the game, so Kepa Geisen has stepped in his place.
Thank you, Sammy.
And Nai Fotu has been a big-time player for them defensively. He emerged at the end of last season and has been solid all year for the Utes defensively, so that's a big loss for them.
This crowd is humming. Hall quiets him down at the completion to Colley. He'll get 10 to the 29. Joe Dale may have saved a touchdown.
What a conversion by BYU. Watch Max Hall, recognizes the coverage, and that window is about 6 inches wide. He throws a frozen rope over to Colley. Colley secures the football. What a great conversion by BYU on this drive. Critical conversion for the Cougars.
Hall, Colley, complete. 5 yards for BYU.
And Colley's doing a terrific job against this coverage. Stanford out there again on the outside. And it's a hand fight when you're playing big time out there. It's a hand fight.
They're getting away with a lot of pulling and grabbing on Austin Colley.
But that's how it goes, and Austin Colley's a big physical guy. He'll push back. Believe me, he will push back. But there was some grabbing going on that one, no question.
All day. Going to tuck it, look for some room. Stevenson Sylvester is going to stop him just short of the first down.
Austin Colley having another big night, 10th straight 100-yard plus ball game. Look at what Utah's defense is trying to do here on this drive. They're starting to funnel everything to the middle of the football field. Their linebackers drop, they're bringing pressure, slants, and stunts. And right now it's confusing BYU a little bit. It's up to them to make the adjustments here on the 3rd and short, get the big conversion, get a fresh set of downs.
Vakapuna, Unga. In an I formation. Unga. And this play is stopped.
Before that, did you see before the play?
Yes. Go ahead, finish.
Utah had an extra guy in the field, and Kyle Whittingham ran out of the field.
3rd down.
Ran out of the field and grabbed him and pulled him off the field.
And the net result is a 5-yard penalty against BYU.
Yeah, BYU. He came 10 yards onto the field to grab the player and pulled him off right in front of the official. And then BYU moved on it. Watch this. Here he comes. He's out to the numbers. He grabs him and pulls him back in. The official says, hey, come on, get off the field. Get off the field. I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
Me neither, partner. 3rd down and 6. Unga slides to the right. Intercepted by Kruger. Falls down at the 5.
Zone blitz, and Max Hall didn't read it. They make it look like man, look like they're coming blitz, and they drop Kruger out of the front into pass coverage, and Max Hall never saw Paul Kruger.
3rd interception tonight by Max Hall, 4th turnover. Last 3 BYU possessions have led to 3 turnovers. Asiata gonna throw to the back of the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Chris Japru. Somewhere, Eric Weddle is smiling. First touchdown catch for Chris Japru, his 6th reception of the year.
What a huge chain of events for Utah. We're going to go back and we're going to take a look at the interceptions. It's a zone blitzing scheme by the Utes. You're going to watch number 11, Paul Kruger, just bleed back into where a linebacker normally would be. Max Hall never sees Kruger. Kruger comes up, secures the football. Max Hall cuts him off at the pass, and then Utah's got to put their offense on the football field. What a huge play by the Utah defense.
And here's the touchdown, and Asiata runs the ball 98% of the time. You try to play those odds, and you have to get safeties up in there and linebackers up in there to try to defend that.
Break down Asiata's throwing motion.
Not good. But it doesn't have to be
effective.
If your guy's that open.
Did he set his feet?
No.
Arm in a little tight.
It was not good, but it does not matter.
Looked like a shot put. Colley, and the Cougars need a big play. Roped around the ankle and down at the 25.
You know, I was thinking about the interception by Kruger. That is a unique zone blitz because Kruger came from the backside. It's a little easier to read as a quarterback if the front side end where you're throwing the ball drops, but he came across the formation. There was no way for Max Hall to see him there. That's just a great call on that down.
Sonic drive summary. Doesn't get much easier than that. And for all the success of Paul Kruger, he's going to get a little in film study for going rubber-legged and falling down at the 5 when he could have had a touchdown. Unga into some space. Still on his feet, finally down at the 47. 22-yard gain for Harvey Unga. Another 1,000-yard season for number 45. Cougars need points, and they need them in a hurry. False start.
And Max Hall was trying to get Reynolds to snap the football. He said, he clapped, he said, give me the ball. He raised his foot.
5-yard penalty, first down.
And everyone got anxious on the offensive line in that one.
This home crowd did a number on TCU at the game here too.
Yep, they did. And right now for BYU, it's important in a 3-score ball game. They've got to go get points right now. If they can bring this within 2 scores at the 10-minute mark, and you got all your timeouts, you got Max Hall at quarterback, not a problem. You can continue to stay in the game, but they've got to mount a drive here and go get points.
Rakapuna pulled down by Kruger. You're watching the Deseret First Duel from Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. Capacity crowd of better than 46,000 on hand. And it has lived up to advanced billing. Una looking for room on the left side. Gets into Utah territory, and Kruger becoming busier by the snap.
both of these defensive ends have had terrific games. Koamisi's been outstanding with tip balls and getting in the throwing lanes, and Kruger, all of a sudden, here in the fourth quarter, has emerged and made big plays. We knew they were good, and they have lived up to their building. 41 and 11 have been outstanding for Utah.
3rd down and 7, and the crowd is on their feet. Hall floats one, looking for Reed. Incomplete. He's out of bounds. Flaming McCain shoved him out of bounds.
And watch the battle on the sideline. He came back inbounds before this and caught it. And clearly, that left foot out of bounds. That was a battle. Those guys, McCain and Michael Reed, were battling each other, hand-to-hand out there.
Everybody's getting to play in the fourth quarter.
I'm just saying, you talk about Koamisi, you talk about Paul Kruger. I think you got to look at the back 7 for Utah. You look at now Bryce McCain, they've had a couple penalties and such, but you look at the coverage by their back 7. Utah has played a good football game.
You know, BYU originally sent the punt team out, then they called timeout here. And it looks like they are going to send the offense back out on the field on 4th and 7.
What do you think of that?
I think at this point in the game, you talk about momentum, John. So much momentum on Utah's side right now that you almost have to cast the dice here and see if you can get some momentum back and convert a 4th down.
4th and 2, I love that call. 4th and 7.
Don't like it on 4th and 7.
Not as happy about that one. I think they're going to talk about it.
Next Saturday, we hit the hardwood for a doubleheader of Mountain West basketball at 2. The Air Force women host Army in Colorado Springs. At 4, the men take the floor. Denver versus Wyoming next Saturday, right here on the Mount.
And they do have the offense on the field. The only mitigating circumstances is the point differential. It's so high. You mentioned just now, you've got to score, and you've got to score now. BYU cannot afford for Utah to have another drive that takes 3 or 4 minutes off.
Here's 4th and 7. First down, Pitta to the 32.
The key there was Dennis Pitta had the opportunity to come from the right side of the formation, lined up as a slot receiver, and come all the way across the formation. You can't do that without pass protection. See how he sat down too? This is a smart tight end. He recognized the zone, found a soft spot, and then he sat down and said, okay, get me the ball. I'm open.
And he's playing on one leg. Lakapuna slips a tackle, loses a helmet. Cole finally pulls him down. Good effort by the senior.
And he says, I need a block. Usually you see him tap the helmet. This time he taps the head, the shaven head, but a lot of running and cutting back on that one. This is a big, strong, physical running back for Ivapatola. He is hard to arm tackle, and he broke 3 arm tackles on that play.
Korea in the backfield. Hall. Far side, complete. Unga wrestled out of bounds by Sean Smith. And Cole. And the clock moves quick in college football.
Yep, I was just going to say, right now the clock is on the side of Utah. They are completely content to bleed as much clock as they can right now. We're down to the 8:29 mark in the 4th. We're still in a 3-score ball game. BYU cannot afford to keep dinking and dunking. They've got to take a shot in the end zone and do it soon.
Checked out, picked off by Smith.
You can go there, but you can't go there late. And you've got to throw that throw on the break. Max Hall was reading to his left. He wanted to go to Michael Reed on the fade route to the corner of the end zone. He came back late. The ball was thrown late. Smith is too good at corner to throw the ball late on.
Four interceptions for Max Hall and a fumble. An illegal block, personal foul penalty against BYU. Fifth interception for Sean Smith. Sitting at number 2 with 4 picks entering play today. Bronco Mendenhall getting an explanation, and BYU has really hurt themselves tonight. Reed for 5.
Rich, we talked about it early in the ball game. What was the key for Utah? What did they have to do? Offensively, stay on schedule. We saw that. Defensively, Bryce McCain and Sean Smith manned up on Austin Collie. They've done a good job. They've taken Dennis Pinta out of the game. Max Hall with the interceptions. BYU struggling with the penalties and the mistakes of the critical situation. Right now, it's up to Utah. With 7:40 left, they have an opportunity to end this ball game.
5 turnovers for BYU. Mack. First down, Utah.
And for BYU right now, you want to strip, you want to do those kinds of, but the first guy to the ball has to tackle the ball carrier. The first guy can't be the strip guy. You've got to just form tackle, and the second guy to the ball can then go for the football. Utah will run the ball here and let that clock continue to tick down.
Mack, the senior, into the teeth of the Cougar defense for 3. Utah trying to get to 12-0. Kyle Whittingham was the defensive coordinator when they made the run to the Fiesta Bowl, trying to earn a ticket to a BCS Bowl game as a head coach. Asiata will take the snap. To the 11.
Guys having a little conversation, but it looked like it was a good-spirited conversation down on the bottom of the pile that time.
Utah's going to continue to run the football. They want to make BYU burn their timeouts. They want points out of this drive. Right now, everything lines up for Utah. You talk about the BCS berth. You can just feel it, the energy in this crowd now with 5:49 left here in the fourth with Utah driving.
Asiata again. Right side. Room to the 4. First down, Utah.
You can get Asiata out in space on the edge. If he can turn the corner on the edge, and now you're talking about outside backers and corners trying to tackle that big body, he is very powerful. And why risk handing the ball off? Just keep snapping it to him and let him continue to run it.
He'll keep it. Marked down just short of the goal line. One more time. Nation's longest winning streak Utah, Alabama, and Texas Tech. And the Red Raiders are trailing in Norman.
Yeah, coming into the ball game, everybody was talking about, with Utah sitting at number 7, would we get a BCS berth if they beat BYU? And I still think there's going to be movement in the top 7. You look at Alabama, they still have to go play the SEC championship game against Florida Tech right now, is down against Oklahoma.
5:03 remaining in the fourth quarter. Utes in command.
That's awesome.
Very attractive.
I love it. Lots of room back there in the back. Yeah, it's got all kinds of room in it, man.
We drove it down a huge mountain. It's still as smooth as can be.
Loads of power.
Hemi, top of the line.
Can't even feel the trailer back there.
Go, 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 go!
Intrepid holiday shoppers can feel it in the air. The anticipation is mounting. It's Black Friday at Spring Mobile.
Visit Spring Mobile the day after Thanksgiving, and we'll give you bargain hunting buffs, a free Bluetooth headset with the purchase of any phone. And this offer is good with all other promotions. So make the most of the Black Friday mayhem by visiting any of our 40 Utah Spring Mobile locations. Spring Mobile, your Utah retailer for AT&T Wireless.
Get your ring from Spring.
This brown bag special is such a great deal.
I know. I love you get 2 of everything. Like 2 tots. 2 drinks. You get 2 burgers. It's too good to be true. Too good to be true.
Right, I get it.
This is too much fun. I thought that'd be more fun than it was.
Brown bag special. Sonic's got it, others don't. A Sonic-sized deal with 2 burgers, 2 tots, and 2 drinks for just $6.99. And for dessert, try the new Sticky Bun Dough Blast.
Back in Salt Lake City, Andrew Ridge being helped to the sideline by the BYU trainers. Look at our Zero Fatalities key play of the game, brought to you by Zero Fatalities, a goal we can all live with, and it's Paul Kruger's interception.
And I love the call. It was a zone blitz play where he came all the way across the formation, and this came on the heels of another turnover, and this is what blew the game wide open. Paul Kruger has had a tremendous game, a very, very good fourth quarter.
Recruited as a quarterback. He looks nothing like a quarterback anymore.
Yeah, that was 40 pounds ago, but he thinks like a quarterback, and he gets his hands on a lot of balls, and I think that's from the mentality. He makes those reads, and he gets in those throwing lanes. He understands what a quarterback's looking at, and it helps him at defensive end.
Brian Johnson under center. Mack is stuffed. David Tafuna denied the surge from Darrell Mack.
And I saw David Tafuna, Kellen Fowler before the play talking and firing each other up, and they come up and double team on that one. It's a difficult thing to keep that emotion when you look and there's 4:11 and it's ticking down and you're behind like this. But for BYU's defense, they have to show some pride here.
3rd and goal. Back to the Matt Asiata direct snap. He's ridden down short. Matt Bauman able to knife his way in. 4th and goal from the 1. Gents, what do you think?
I like what I'm seeing out of this BYU. It's like they said to themselves, you know what? Fine, the game is over, but the defense is going to make a statement here. You go for it. I think you just go for it.
If you're Kyle Whittingham and you're Andy Ludwig and you're in this spot, you go for it.
Yeah, I think you just run it.
And you start to stick it into the end zone and cap this game off.
Johnson to the end zone, touchdown, penalty flag. Sampson made the catch, but flags are down.
And it looked like Utah tried to go real quick with the snap, and sometimes everybody's not set when you do that.
Greg Burks, our referee.
offsides defense. 4th down.
Now, that's an interesting call because offside, they called an offside in the neutral zone, must have been with contact. Otherwise, they'd let the play go. But if there's contact.
Please set the clock to 3:19.
If there's contact, and there's one other thing, if the defense moves and forces the offense to move, in other words, they draw the offense into movement, that's the other instance where they will blow it dead. Well, I didn't see contact. I didn't see the offense move, so you would think the play would stand as a touchdown. For BYU, it ends up being a favorable call on this one because they do it over again.
And now what do the Utes have in their bag of tricks?
I think there was some confusion on both sides, and we're going to get an explanation here by the official.
Timeout, Utah.
There have been some great moments in the history of Utah football. They're trying to add to the tradition this year. When Alex Smith and company ran the table in 2005, the first non-automatic qualifier to earn a BCS bid. Remember back then you had to finish in the top 6 to get to a BCS bowl game, and they dominated Pittsburgh down in Arizona.
Paris Warren was incredible. That was a team, that 2004 Ute team, that just rolled over everyone. They were absolutely a top 6 team, and I thought should have had the right to play in Auburn or USC that year because they would have played extremely well and battled it out with those teams. They ended up with Pittsburgh, and they dominated Pittsburgh like they had dominated everybody else in the league.
Urban Meyer's final game as the head coach of the Utes, and then the torch was passed to Kyle Whittingham, and he's done nothing but increase the excitement in Salt Lake City. 4th and goal. Johnson flips, touchdown, Colt Sampson.
And if you're BYU, you have to gamble a little bit. You have to step up in there, and you choose. Are you going to play the run? You're going to play the pass. BYU chose to play the run that time, and Utah on back-to-back plays, the one that got blown dead. And this one, they go with the pass, and they get the touchdown.
"15 career receptions for Sampson, 7 have gone for scores."
Even in this current economic storm, there's still a silver lining. Rewards checking from Deseret First Credit Union. It's a checking account that pays 5.01% APY. There's no minimum balance, no monthly fees. We'll even pay your ATM fees. To qualify, it's easy. In fact, there are little things you're probably already doing. A checking account that pays you interest? No, that will leave you dancing in the rain. Rewards checking from Deseret First, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel.
No work, no worries. Finally here.
Yep. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
It's what you've been waiting for. Quad Fair is here. Your chance to score the lowest financing and best deals of the year on Suzuki's full line of King Quad and Sport ATVs. Plus, enter the Quad Fair sweepstakes to win big. Make tracks to your Suzuki dealer today.
Sure is pretty out here.
It's winter out there, and you've still got places to go. Wherever you're headed, whatever the weather, depend on Les Schwab to get you there. We'll help you make the right choice from a great selection of all-season tires, traction tires, and easy-to-install chains. And remember, a reliable battery is important in winter, too. Les Schwab Tires. We help make getting there safer.
Today's Today's presentation of the Deseret First Duel on the Mountain is brought to you by Deseret First Credit Union, proud sponsor of the Deseret First Duel. 2 schools, 12 sports, 1 champion. Dodge. See the all-new 2009 Dodge Ram Crew Cab 1500 at your Dodge dealer. Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. And by Red Rock Golf Trail. It'll leave its mark. They will celebrate in downtown Salt Lake tonight. The Utes are going to go to 12-0 overall, 8-0, and earn the Mountain West Conference Championship outright. Sonic drive summary. Took them 9 plays to go 29 yards, but really the game has been BYU's 5 turnovers.
A 29-yard drive, 31-yard drive, 4-yard drive, all here in the second half, and they've got the wheel of fortune.
Where do you think it lands?
Where it lands, that hard to predict.
Sure. Chambers will bring it out. And Chambers still on his feet, spun around and knocked down at the 33. Non-BCS teams in BCS bowls. BCU will mark number 4.
And it's important. Utah handled Pittsburgh. Boise State, one of the greatest bowl games I've ever seen, beats Oklahoma. And Hawaii did not represent the non-BCS schools well. This Utah team plays good defense. They will represent the non-BCS.
What a year for the Mountain West. Utah is going to be the conference champion, but BYU is going to finish 10-2. Wonderful season for TCU with just 2 losses as well. Unga with plenty of room to roam in the open field. Cut down at the 45, 3 teams in the top 25. Wonderful year.
Yeah, what a great year for the conference as a whole. Finishing Michael Reed appears to be down on the field. He got rolled up on his knee, but you're right, Rich. 3 top 25 teams from the Mountain West, and as they continue to try to build this conference and get to a point where they get an automatic qualifier, and Reed just gets bent over backward by a defender there. But that's where the conference is trying to get to, is trying to get that automatic qualifier status, and they've gone a long way this year to achieving that goal.
That's not good news for BYU, only being helped off.
Boy, and Reed is still down, and keep in mind that Reed missed time at the beginning of the year with a knee injury that he came back from. He's been such an integral part of what BYU's done over the last couple of years. As you mentioned, this is back-to-back 10-win seasons. That is a level of consistency that very few teams achieve in football today. And you have your ebbs and flows and ups and downs, but BYU has been consistently good over 3 years.
Bronco Mendenhall has restored the glory down in Provo.
But for BYU, they obviously have a bowl game coming up. Whether that's the Las Vegas Bowl, the Poinsettia Bowl, the Armed Forces Bowl, we don't know, but they'll need those 2 guys. They will need Michael Reed and Harvey Unga if they're going to perform at their best in a bowl game. 2 integral parts of their offense.
Ball to Chambers. He can't hold it. It's incomplete. Clock stops at 2:18.
For Max Hall, this has been a game where he's looked brilliant at times and moved this offense, and there have been some very poor decisions that have cost in a big way. The 5 turnovers directly attributed to him in this one.
Yeah, I think you also got to give a lot of credit to the defense from Utah also for forcing some of those decisions in their play in the back 7.
And he'll be back.
A lot of these kids in blue will be
Max
back.
Hall he'll have another shot at this, and for Brian Johnson, the senior, what a way to go out for Utah. But Max Hall, he gets another shot at this thing next year, along with Harvey Unga, Dennis Pitta, Austin Colley, all underclassmen who will return for BYU next year.
Blaine, I know you've done this game, been in around it and involved it for close to 2 decades. My first opportunity to be part of it. What a wonderful college football atmosphere. Another interception. Joe Dale plucks one out of the air. 6 BYU turnovers. When you look at all the numbers, everything else is even except the turnovers.
Everything looks the same.
And therefore the score is lopsided.
Yep. It's what it always boils down to in these games. When you're playing your rival, it's always about the turnovers and the field position and special teams. Look at Kyle Whittingham. Look at his guys come up. He's going to get the Gatorade shower. He doesn't know it yet. They're going to sneak in, and they got him right there. Andy was trying to warn him.
Andy Ludwig was like, "Hey, something's going on, man." But then Andy was an innocent bystander and caught a little bit of that.
I think Andy's lips were saying, "Would you like to run the ball here?" Yes, sir. We will run Matt Asiata. Congratulations to Kyle Whittingham. Wonderful season and a great win. Don't forget BYU. Back-to-back conference champions, and they did it in dramatic fashions 2 consecutive years. And those are gut-wrenching losses.
Well, and I remember talking to Kyle Whittingham after both of those games, and that was tough. And now you see the opposite, the jubilation. He has been so happy and enjoyed the season this year. He really likes this group of guys and feels it's a very deserving group. He's had a lot of fun this season.
And when we asked him what would this mean to you personally, said it would be 5 years of hard work being paid off for the kids. And that's always has been his focus. Man of Steel, brought to you by your local steel dealers. Find one near you at steelusa.com. Brian Johnson, final game at Rice-Eccles Stadium. He saved his best for the last game.
Well, you've got it so good, especially for the seniors. For Utah, battling back and forth. Brian Johnson had that shoulder injury, didn't know what his future held. Battled back from that. Now he's won 20 of his last 21 games. Are you kidding me? And sets him up for a BCS berth, and you just got to feel really good, not only for the coaches and the fans, but these players and all the things that they've gone through with winter conditioning and spring football. And look at the fans piling out on the field. Unbelievable.
I've been down there in this, and I'm wishing the best of luck to Sammy and to Toby down there. I'm glad I'm up here.
Brian Johnson, 30 of 36, 303 yards, 4 touchdowns, but there's still 24 seconds to go, so everybody needs to scurry off the field.
I always like that when they're taking one of the goalposts down.
I call it a 3rd down.
Stand it back up, guys. You got to get it back up there.
And when you get to a huge rivalry game, and when you do what we do, people always ask, who do you want to win? You want a close game. Nobody cares who ends up winning. But I'll tell you this, when the home team wins any big game, the celebration for the fans is fun to watch. And whether we're in Provo, Wyoming, Colorado State, TCU, it is fun to watch the locals celebrate. One thing I can guarantee you, Louis Dakota's field goal kicking career is done.
It's over, huh?
There's no more goalposts.
Not only did the goalposts come down, now they're dissecting and taking them off the field. I've never seen that before. There we go. Now they're going to kill it. What a sight. Congratulations to the University of Utah and their coaching staff and their players.
Second time in school history they've gotten to 12-0. They'll try to win their 8th straight bowl game in a BCS game.
You know, coming into this, Rich, we talked all week, and the coaches on both sides told us turnovers will be the thing. Turnovers will win this game or lose this game. And we felt if a team was +2, they'd run away with this game.
Agreed.
And +6, you're really going to run away with this game.
BCS bound indeed. Player of the game, Brian Johnson.
You look at those numbers, 30 of 36. He was incredible in the first half. Got his team off to a great start. 303 yards, 4 touchdowns. What a terrific job by Brian Johnson.
Let's go down to our set and check in with Bill and Bo.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're live at the stadium, and Utah has just defeated BYU 48-24, and we're with a very happy and I no doubt a very proud head football coach at the University of Utah, Kyle Whittingham. Kyle, you tell me, one game at a time, no more emphasis, no more focus than any other, but how sweet is this victory, and how much relief is there to come off with a win like this?
Well, I'll tell you what, I am so proud of this football team, our senior class, just the toughness they've demonstrated all season long. It starts with Brian Johnson. He's our team leader. You know, we had our backs against the wall 3 or 4 times this year, and they fought their way out of those situations each and every time. Our coaching staff, you know, our coaching staff is a bunch of committed, just workaholics. I mean, they're tireless. They're tireless. They recruit, they coach, they grind, and I'm just proud to be associated with all this. I'm just proud that I have a chance to be associated with a group like this.
Coach, you know, the last 2 seasons, obviously tough games, tough breaks. Your team today on both sides of the ball looked very well prepared. How are you able to use those tough losses in order to get your team ready to play today?
Well, they just took a week-to-week mentality all season long, 12 straight weeks, never looked past anybody. You know, they come to work Monday through Friday. They work their tails off. They study film on their own time. And, you know, it's just, you know, college football is all about players. And our players did a great job this season.
Kyle, 48-24, people are going to look at those numbers and say, man, your offense was dynamite today, but you forced a lot of turnovers. Did defense win this game for you?
Well, I think it was a team effort. We had 20 first downs in the first half. I mean, that's off the charts. Defense got 5 takeaways. You know, the kicking game was solid. It was a team effort. It was a team effort, all 3 phases.
Well, your team is perfect. Congratulations on the Mountain West Conference Championship.
Thank you.
And the good news hopefully will come in a couple of weeks. You're BCS bound.
Yeah, you bet it will.
Okay. Congratulations.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Head coach Kyle Whittingham, let's send it back upstairs, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Bill. Great game, partner.
Yep, unbelievable season, and you just got to feel great for Kyle Whittingham and this Utah football program. Just put it together, battled. Think back to that TCU game when everything was on the line, the battle against Oregon State and Air Force, and you just got to hand it to them. They hung in there as a team, and they fought, and they battled, and then you just look at what they did tonight against BYU. BYU gave a great effort. Utah came in, they were prepared, they played a great ball game. Brian Johnson led them, coming out with the victory. Now they get an opportunity to go play in a BCS ball game, outright conference championship, and that's what it's all about, my friend.
Our final from Rice Eccles, Utah 48, BYU 24. Specialized statistical information provided by Stats. We switch to basketball tonight in Fort Collins, Minnesota and Colorado State at 8. For my partners, John Berger, Blaine Fowler, Toby Christensen, Sammy Linebaugh, I'm Rich Cellini. Stay tuned. Our Live at the Stadium show coming up next. This has been a production of The Mountain.